Hello and welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Explore our playlist for more captivating novels, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 61 Mental Riot. Yun Miao originally wanted to teach Feng Yaoyao a lesson first, but he didn't expect the effect to be so good that Feng Yaoyao was so frightened that her face changed drastically. Yun Miao had originally wanted to take the opportunity to let her confess the fact of murder in front of everyone, but the subsequent developments were somewhat unexpected for her. The innocent expression on Feng Yaoyao's face disappeared, and her eyes instantly changed from pitiful and fragile to sinister and fierce. "I am going to kill you." Feng Yaoyao spoke sinisterly, and an invisible mental force immediately burst out from her body and headed straight for Yun Miao. Again, Yun Miao was startled and immediately felt the danger of being thrown into the water. He instinctively jumped to the right where it was easier to dodge. However, in his haste, he did not notice that there was a knee-high bush on the right. Yun Miao fell directly into the bush with this jump. Although he managed to avoid Feng Yaoyao's attack in time, he was tripped by the flowers and plants due to miscalculation and was unable to get up in time. Feng Yaoyao's rationality had been replaced by fear at this moment. She didn't want to think about anything. She just wanted to eliminate all the horror she saw, and her instinctive perception prompted her to attack Yun Miao directly. Seeing that the first attack missed, Feng Yaoyao immediately controlled her mental power and was about to launch a second attack on Yun Miao. However, when she concentrated her mental strength to launch an attack, a sense of crisis instantly enveloped her heart. She turned her attention to the direction where the sense of crisis came from, and saw a figure approaching her quickly. Court death. Feng Yaoyao gritted her teeth and immediately gave up on dealing with Yun Miao and instead attacked the figure rushing towards her. An invisible shock wave shot towards Butler Wu, but Butler Wu, with his senses fully open, did not show any fear. Instead, he rushed forward. When he sensed that he was particularly close to the mental shock, he instantly deployed his mental defense. His mental power was at A level. Although Feng Yaoyao's mental power was high, it was not enough to pose a threat to him and was easily pushed away by Butler Wu. Feng Yaoyao realized that her attack had failed, and she became more and more angry. It seemed as if there was an invisible wave rippling around her. Her mental power also seemed to increase instantly, and she launched another mental attack towards Butler Wu. This attack was more deterrent than the previous one. Butler Wu naturally noticed it and immediately evaded the attack by flexibly turning his feet and body a few times. Before Feng Yaoyao could react, Butler Wu had already rushed in front of her, raised his hand high, and then chopped her neck hard. In an instant, everything was quiet. Feng Yaoyao lost all her strength to resist and fell to the ground. Butler Wu was about to help her up first, but after squatting down, he noticed something was wrong and his brows furrowed more and more. It was because he clearly sensed that even though Feng Yaoyao had fainted, her mental strength had not been calmed down. This is a precursor to a mental riot. Not good. Butler Wu cried out in a low voice, and quickly turned back to shout to Feng Chengyuan and the others, "General, Miss Yaoyao is about to have a mental riot, and we must deal with it as soon as possible." However, as soon as he finished speaking, a strong wind swept in from all directions with Feng Yaoyao as the center. The Feng family members who were originally planning to go forward to check the situation were so frightened after hearing what Butler Wu said that they turned around and ran without caring about anything, fearing that they would be caught in the storm if they were a little slower. Feng Chengyuan, however, had a stern expression and did not show any intention of retreating. Instead, his eyes were deep as he steered the wheelchair towards Feng Yaoyao. At the same time, Yun Miao had just stood up from the flowers and plants when he heard the call from Butler Wu. Before he could react, he was blown by a sudden gust of wind and almost fell back into the flowers and plants again. Butler Wu was ready to evacuate quickly the moment Feng Yaoyao rioted. However, just as he was about to move, he noticed a figure standing up from the bushes nearby. Upon closer inspection, who else could it be but Yun Miao? He was immediately horrified and quickly shouted, "Miss Yun, it's dangerous, leave here quickly." As soon as Yun Miao stood firm, he saw Butler Wu rushing towards him. At the same time, Feng Chengyuan had also arrived in front of Feng Yaoyao. Without saying a word, he directly expanded his spiritual domain and enveloped Feng Yaoyao in it. Take her away. Feng Chengyuan's low voice was heard, and Yun Miao only had time to see Feng Chengyuan grab Feng Yaoyao, and then put the palm of his other hand on the top of Feng Yaoyao's head. Suddenly, the violent power around seemed to be contained and instantly began to gather towards the center. Butler Wu didn't have time to think about why Yun Miao appeared here. He just followed Feng Chengyuan's instructions and took Yun Miao away for a distance. After making sure there was no danger anymore, he turned around and rushed towards Feng Chengyuan. We must stop the admiral as soon as possible. If he continues, I am afraid that even he. Butler Wu looked solemn and his pace quickened a lot, but in the blink of an eye he had arrived beside Feng Chengyuan. Admiral, please let go and let me do it. Butler Wu knew what Feng Chengyuan was doing. When encountering someone else's mental turmoil, if there is no suppressor to assist in protection and the situation is extremely critical, it can be controlled artificially. As long as the mental domain is used to forcibly suppress it, as long as the person has higher mental power than the other person, they can control the other person's mental energy in their own mental domain and prevent it from overflowing. However, this is also a very dangerous thing, because if your own mental power is not higher than that of the other person, forcibly using this method will not only fail to control the other person's mental turmoil, but may even put yourself in crisis. Feng Chengyuan's mental power is at SS level, while he is facing Feng Yaoyao's mental power which is less than a level. If it were in the past, it would be very easy to use this method, but Feng Chengyuan's current situation makes it impossible for him to bear the consequences of such wanton use of his mental domain. This is also the reason why Butler Wu is so anxious. Butler Wu was standing by, ready to take over Feng Chengyuan's position and control Feng Yaoyao at any time. However, Feng Chengyuan had no intention of letting go of his spiritual domain. Instead, he looked seriously at Feng Yaoyao, whose spiritual energy was becoming more and more violent as she overflowed. A hint of deep thought flashed in his eyes. It seems that this is the only thing we can do. A thought flashed through Feng Chengyuan's mind, and after a brief consideration, he finally made a decision. At the same time, Yun Miao stayed in a safe enough place, looking at Feng Chengyuan and Butler Wu nervously, feeling inexplicably nervous. Now Yun Miao is no longer the ignorant time traveler Xiaobai. Now that she has learned a lot about this world, she can also see that Feng Yaoyao is in a state of mental turmoil. Yun Miao felt that the reason why Feng Yaoyao behaved like this might be because of the mental hypnosis she had just performed on her. She had thought that Feng Yaoyao would be scared to the point of going crazy, but she had not expected that her mental power would actually go into a tragedies. In that dangerous situation just now, if Feng Chengyuan had not opened his spiritual domain in time to cover Feng Yaoyao, she would probably have been injured by such violent energy before she could wait for Butler Wu to take her away. Yun Miao looked at Feng Chengyuan who was so close to danger and silently clenched his hands. For the first time, he was so worried about Feng Chengyuan's safety. Chapter 62 Annihilation. Yun Miao had thought about using his own methods to appease Feng Yaoyao first, and settle the score later. After all, the mental riot would affect a wide range of people and might even affect more innocent people. But the current situation simply doesn't allow her to do that. If only Feng Chengyuan was here, Yun Miao could try to comfort her simply. As for whether Feng Yaoyao would become stupid after it was over, she didn't care. However, besides Feng Chengyuan, there were other people from the Feng family here. They ran away before but they didn't leave completely. Instead, they hid in a relatively safe place and secretly observed the situation here. She believed that even if she revealed her true identity in front of Feng Chengyuan, she might still be able to ask him to keep the secret for her. But Yun Miao, who was a member of the Feng family, did not dare to take the risk. While Yun Miao was weighing the pros and cons in his mind, Feng Chengyuan had already placed his hand on Feng Yaoyao's head. His brows were furrowed, and a dark light flashed in his eyes. At this moment, he was the only one who knew the extent to which Feng Yaoyao's mental turmoil had reached. If he had not enveloped the other party with his own mental domain and gathered together the overflowing mental energy, the scope that force would sweep would have been beyond imagination. However, Feng Chengyuan knew that he couldn't control it for too long in his current condition. Once he couldn't hold on any longer and let go of her control, Feng Yaoyao would be torn to pieces by the violent energy in an instant. In an instant, Feng Chengyuan made a decision in his heart. He controlled his mental energy and slowly invaded Feng Yaoyao's brain. Then, when he found the location of her mental sea, he used his mental power without hesitation to completely tear apart her mental sea in an instant. What? The severe pain finally made Feng Yaoyao, who was originally in a coma, unable to bear it and let out a painful wail. However, when her spiritual sea completely dissipated, her painful wails came to an abrupt end, and the originally violent spiritual energy seemed to have pressed the pause button in an instant, and disappeared into thin air in an instant. PFF'd. The moment Feng Chengyuan let go of her hand, Feng Yaoyao fell to the ground again. However, neither Feng Chengyuan nor Butler Wu, who immediately stepped forward, had the heart to care about her situation anymore. "Admiral, how are you? I'll take you to the hospital now." Butler Wu had a solemn expression on his face, looking at Feng Chengyuan with worried eyes. Feng Chengyuan did not answer, but clenched his hands tightly on the armrests of the wheelchair, trying hard to endure the waves of pain coming from his head. After a moment, he let out a long breath and opened his eyes, which were slightly bloodshot. "It's okay, take the person back first." Feng Chengyuan opened his mouth. His voice was very hoarse, and if you listened carefully, it was trembling slightly. Only he knew what the decision he had just made in order to completely eliminate the threat and save Feng Yaoyao's life meant. The spiritual sea is the carrier of everyone's spiritual power. When the spiritual sea is completely destroyed, it means that the person has completely lost his spiritual power and become ordinary. After taking a look at Feng Yaoyao, who was held up by Butler Wu, an ambiguous emotion flashed in Feng Chengyuan's eyes. He finally withdrew his gaze, controlled the wheelchair and turned away. Yun Miao didn't know what was going on, but he could feel that the originally manic mental power suddenly disappeared completely after Feng Yaoyao let out a scream. Then he saw Feng Chengyuan turning around and coming towards him. Yun Miao didn't have time to think about it and immediately went to meet him nervously. "Admiral, are you all right?" Yun Miao asked nervously, but when he saw Feng Chengyuan's pale face under the light, his heart skipped a beat. "You won't be hurt, will you?" Thinking of this, Yun Miao became even more worried. But Feng Chengyuan did not answer, nor did he ask about Yun Miao's previous disappearance. He just left. When the Feng family members saw from a distance that the situation here had stabilized, they all wanted to ask Feng Chengyuan questions, but they were all ignored by him. They could only watch Feng Chengyuan leave and did not dare to stop him. However, Butler Wu, who was walking over with Feng Yaoyao in his arms, was stopped by everyone. "What happened? Wasn't your mental power rioting just now? How come it stabilized so quickly? She really has spiritual power, and it's of a high level. Our Feng family has another powerful descendant, haha. What's wrong with her now?" Quote. A group of people were asking questions at the same time, and Butler Wu had no idea whose question to answer first, so he simply didn't answer any of them. "Sorry, I have something important to do now. Please make way." Having said that, Butler Wu prepared to take Feng Yaoyao away. Feng Qing directly stopped in front of Butler Wu, looked at Feng Yaoyao in his arms, and said with a complicated look, "She is my daughter, Butler Wu, please let me take her back." Butler Wu had no intention of letting go. Instead, he suppressed his gentle expression and said seriously, "The admiral ordered me to take her back. Please don't embarrass me, Master Feng. If the admiral doesn't see Miss Yaoyao later, I'm afraid he will be angry." Feng Qing was choked, but Feng Zhen said coldly, "Leave her to us. If Cheng Yuan asks, just come to us." As he said this, he motioned to his son Feng Anlin to go forward and snatch Feng Yaoyao from Butler Wu's hands. Butler Wu hesitated for a moment, but did not stop them. He watched them carry Feng Yaoyao over. His eyes darkened and he said calmly, "I hope that Patriarch Feng can say the same thing when the time comes." Worried about Feng Chengyuan's situation, Butler Wu didn't want to get entangled with everyone, so he handed over Feng Yaoyao and left immediately. Yun Miao had already followed Feng Chengyuan as soon as she saw him leave. She could feel that Feng Chengyuan was in a very bad condition, but she didn't know exactly what was wrong. Even if she wanted to ask, she wouldn't get any answer. She could only follow Feng Chengyuan silently, hoping that she could immediately step forward to help when he needed her. The two of them returned to the courtyard where they lived, one after the other. Feng Chengyuan went back to his room without even looking back. When Yun Miao wanted to follow him in, the door was closed the moment she was about to enter. Yun Miao almost bumped into the door. "Admiral, are you really okay?" Yun Miao asked outside the door without giving up, but still got no answer, so he could only find a stone step outside the door and sit down. At this moment, Yun Miao felt regretful in his heart. He should have been more decisive just now. Maybe if he had taken action himself, Feng Chengyuan would not have been injured and suffered. Not long after Yun Miao sat down, Butler Wu hurried back. Seeing Yun Miao sitting on the stone steps, he didn't have time to ask a single question. He just walked to the door, knocked, pushed it open and walked in. Yun Miao quickly stood up and wanted to follow in, but he was a step too slow and was locked outside the door again. Yun Miao almost bumped into the door again. It's really a tie. Chapter 63 Sequelae. After Butler Wu entered the room, he hurried to the cabinet and took out a few spare tubes of medicine. He turned around and found Feng Chengyuan in the room, and then quickly came to his side. "Admiral, these are soothing potions and stabilizers. Use them first." Butler Wu opened the 2 bottles of medicine and immediately handed them to Feng Chengyuan, his eyes full of worry. At this moment, Feng Chengyuan's face was extremely pale, and his whole body was trembling slightly. The back of his hands gripping the armrest of the wheelchair were covered with blue veins. It seemed that only by holding on with all his strength could he control his mental power that was about to get out of control. When Butler Wu brought the medicine to him, Feng Chengyuan took it and drank it directly. However, when the medicine entered his body, the effect was not immediately visible. He could only rely on himself to get through this extremely painful time. "I'd better take you to the hospital." Although this was not the first time he had seen Feng Chengyuan in this state, Butler Wu was still very worried. He regretted not being able to stop Feng Chengyuan in time when he used his mental power. The doctor said that in his current condition he could not use his mental power casually. The more mental power he used and the stronger it was, the more pain he would endure afterwards, and there was even a risk of triggering a second mental outburst. Butler Wu didn't understand why Feng Chengyuan did that just now. In the situation just now, even if Feng Yaoyao's mental power was completely released, what would it matter? Is the life and death of a member of the Feng family more important than his safety? "Go out." Enduring the severe pain in his head, Feng Chengyuan gritted his teeth and spoke. Butler Wu hesitated, but did not dare to disobey the order, so he could only leave the room with deep worry. Yun Miao had been guarding outside the door and did not leave. When he saw Butler Wu coming out, he quickly stood up and went to greet him. "Butler Wu, is the Admiral okay? I see he looks unwell, is he injured?" Yun Miao was just thinking too much and felt very wronged. Now her eyes were still red and she looked like she had just cried. When Butler Wu saw Yun Miao's look, he thought that Yun Miao was crying because she was too worried about Feng Chengyuan's situation, and his favorable impression of Yun Miao increased. Seeing her asking so anxiously, and thinking about the situation of the Admiral in the room, Butler Wu shook his head silently and said, "The situation is very complicated. The Admiral just used his mental power, so now." He hesitated, knowing in his heart that he shouldn't say these words to Yun Miao, but it was rare that someone cared about Feng Chengyuan as much as he did, so Butler Wu had a desire to confide in him. The Admiral has suffered so much. If only more people cared about him. But the people of the Feng family actually don't have much affection for the Admiral. In their hearts, they probably want to squeeze out all the surplus value of the Admiral before he dies. How could they care about his life or death? What's going on? Butler Wu, just tell me. Seeing that Butler Wu seemed to be hesitant to speak, Yun Miao was really anxious. Butler Wu thought about it and decided to reveal a little to Yun Miao. After all, Yun Miao and Feng Chengyuan are now tied together, and he cares so much about his situation, it is impossible for him to harm him. Since waking up from the last mental riot, the admiral has suffered sequelae. He cannot use his mental power easily, otherwise it will easily trigger a second mental riot, which may put his life in danger. Just now, in order to stop Miss Yao Yao, the admiral used his mental power regardless of the danger to himself, so now. What? It's so serious. Yun Miao exclaimed in disbelief, and the uneasiness in his heart was confirmed at this moment. Sure enough, she said that she felt something was wrong with Feng Chengyuan since a while ago. It turned out that he had used his mental power, which caused the sequelae. What should we do now? Should we go to the hospital? How can we let him stay in the room alone? Yun Miao asked anxiously, feeling a little panic in his heart. Butler Wu quickly comforted him. I have already given the admiral a dose of medicine. No one can help him from now on. The admiral will have to survive on his own. As he spoke, Butler Wu couldn't help but sigh, feeling helpless. As he was talking, there was a sound of something falling in the room suddenly, followed by a faint roar. It was obvious that the person in the room was in great pain. Your Excellency the Admiral, Butler Wu and Yun Miao exclaimed at the same time, but just as they instinctively wanted to rush in, something suddenly hit the door with a loud bang, which successfully stopped the two of them. Yun Miao didn't know what the aftereffects of a mental outburst would be like, but seeing that even a strong man like Feng Chengyuan couldn't endure such torture, he thought it must be very painful. Miss Yun, can I ask you for a favor? Butler Wu suddenly spoke to Yun Miao. Yun Miao was in a complicated mood at the moment. Hearing this, he quickly nodded and said, what is it? Butler Wu, tell me. Butler Wu glanced at the tightly closed door and hesitated for a moment before speaking. I have to make some preparations. I hope Miss Yun can help me stay here and not let anyone in to disturb the Admiral. If there is any problem, please notify me as soon as possible. He had to prepare for the worst and make all necessary preparations to deal with Feng Chengyuan's possible mental outburst, so he needed to leave temporarily to arrange for the activation of all protective devices. Yun Miao nodded hurriedly, but suddenly thought of something in his mind. Hadn't I helped someone calm down a violent mental power before? Maybe I could do it this time. After receiving Yun Miao's response, Butler Wu hurried out. He had to find other people from the Feng family because the protective equipment here required authorization before it could be activated. After watching Butler Wu leave, Yun Miao quickly ran to the door and put his ear against it to try to hear what was going on inside. However, after hearing a faint growl before, there was strangely no sound at all. He didn't know what happened to Feng Chengyuan inside. Forget it, never mind. Yun Miao gritted his teeth, stamped his feet, and made a decision in his heart immediately. Feng Chengyuan was nice to him and was willing to protect and help him. Yun Miao was not the kind of person who would not repay a favor. Moreover, he was willing to use his abilities for a stranger before. How could he just watch Feng Chengyuan die now? Now that even Butler Wu has left, it is a good opportunity to save people. Even if Feng Chengyuan notices something later, he can say that he was confused and heard it wrong. In short, as long as Yun Miao does not admit it, no one can find any problems. Thinking of this, Yun Miao did not waste any more time. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, leaned against the door, and began to chant slowly. Chapter 64 Comfort. In the darkness, an ethereal voice sounded, melodious and graceful, as if coming from the horizon. Feng Chengyuan felt like his head was about to explode, and he was curled up in the wheelchair in agony. His forehead was covered with beads of sweat, and veins on his neck were taut. He was in so much pain that he wanted to destroy everything around him. However, the last bit of rationality in his mind told him that if he couldn't hold on, what awaited him would be destruction and death. Can't retreat, can't indulge. Feng Chengyuan clenched his teeth tightly, and seemed unaware that blood was flowing from the corners of his mouth. He didn't know how long this torture would last, he just knew he couldn't just collapse like this. He opened his eyes with difficulty. His eyes were already red, with countless bloodshot veins crawling all over his eyeballs, making him look extremely scary. However, if you look closely, it seems that his eyes are about to lose their last focus. I can't hold on any longer. An even greater spiritual energy began to emanate from his body, and he was about to lose control. However, at this critical moment, in a trance, a chant that seemed to be able to cleanse his body and mind entered Feng Chengyuan's ears. Nano Ratna Tra Yaya. Namo Arya Nyana Sagara. Verchana Buha Rajaya. Note 1. When the voice reached his ears, Feng Chengyuan's thoughts, which were already on the verge of chaos, seemed to be stirred by something, causing him to be stunned. His head tilted unconsciously, and his almost lifeless eyes had no focus, but he was still instinctively using his ears to follow the direction where the voice came from. However, the sound seemed to come from all directions, enveloping him and making it impossible for him to tell where the sound came from. Slowly, as the ethereal and divine singing continued, Feng Chengyuan's originally tense body gradually relaxed, and his curled-up body stretched out without him knowing when. He just sat on the back of the wheelchair with his head tilted back, and his whole body fell into a state of emptiness. The spiritual energy that was about to overflow gradually calmed down as if it had been comforted, and was gathered back into Feng Chengyuan's body. The pain that had originally tortured Feng Chengyuan to the point of wanting death also slowly disappeared into thin air as time passed. Time passed silently. Yun Miao closed his eyes and concentrated on using singing to soothe Feng Chengyuan. It only took 4 or 5 minutes, but Yun Miao felt as if a much longer time had passed. When Yun Miao stopped singing, beads of sweat had already appeared on her forehead, and even her expression showed a little fatigue. Call. Yun Miao let out a long breath and felt a little weak. She quickly held onto the door frame to steady herself, but did not pay attention to her own situation at the first moment. Instead, she leaned against the door and eavesdropped on the movements in the room. Is that useful? It should be useful, right? Just now, when Yun Miao was using her ability, she seemed to see Feng Chengyuan but also seemed not to see him, because when she concentrated on looking, the scene in front of her was just a blurry shadow, making it a little unclear for her to see clearly. Yun Miao didn't know why. Unlike the first time he used it, he could clearly see the situation of the person being comforted, but it became so vague when it came to Feng Chengyuan. After thinking about it, he still felt that maybe his ability was not enough, or Feng Chengyuan's mental power was too high, so this situation occurred. However, these were not the most important things. The most important thing was whether the comfort just now was effective on Feng Chengyuan. Yun Miao leaned on the door and tried to eavesdrop on what was going on in the room, but no matter which angle she listened from, she could not hear any movement in the room. Strange, why is there no sound? Yun Miao muttered to himself, feeling somewhat anxious, fearing that his comforting actions just now had no effect. However, just as Yun Miao was hesitating whether to open the door and go in to take a look, the voice of Butler Wu suddenly came from behind him. Miss Yun, what are you doing? Yun Miao was startled, and quickly turned back and stood up straight, and hurriedly explained, I didn't mean to sneak in. Butler Wu. Yun Miao, it's over, I let it slip. Well, I was just worried about the admiral's condition and wanted to take a look. Since he had let the cat out of the bag, Yun Miao might as well confess it. Butler Wu sighed and said, it's very dangerous inside now. Now that I'm back, Miss Yun had better leave this yard. But before he could finish his words, Butler Wu felt something was wrong. It's strange, the room is too quiet, could something really have happened? Butler Wu was startled and hurried forward and knocked on the door. Admiral, are you still awake? Admiral, may I come in and take a look? Admiral, Butler Wu called out several times, but there was no response from the room. Seeing this, Butler Wu's expression became extremely solemn. After hesitating for a moment, he reached out and pushed open the door. Yun Miao was standing behind Butler Wu, feeling a little nervous. He didn't know what Feng Chengyuan's situation was at the moment. He was also worried whether Feng Chengyuan had discovered any clues just now. Both of them looked into the room with great trepidation, but when they saw that everything was calm inside, their expressions changed. Butler Wu looked a little doubtful and stepped into the room hesitantly, his movements seeming to be cautious. Yun Miao was much bolder. After opening the door and not hearing any painful sounds, Yun Miao knew that his comforting actions had worked. Therefore, he even walked lighter and walked straight past Butler Wu into the room. "Miss Yun, please be careful." Butler Wu did not expect Yun Miao to be so bold and walk right past him. He reached out to stop him, but Yun Miao quickened his pace and rushed into the room and came to Feng Chengyuan's side. "Admiral, are you all right?" At this moment, Feng Chengyuan was leaning back in the chair with his head tilted back and his eyes closed. It was unknown whether he had fainted or not. His face was still bleak, with some blood on the corners of his mouth. His hair was wet with sweat, and his whole body exuded a sense of shabbiness, which made Yun Miao feel depressed when he saw it. Could something really have happened? Butler Wu was also startled and hurried forward to check on Feng Chengyuan's condition. Fortunately, it seemed that he had only fainted temporarily and his breathing was still stable, which made Butler Wu feel relieved. "Although I don't know what happened during the time I was away, now that the situation has stabilized, there is nothing better than this." Note 1 is Jing Shanyuan's Great Compassion Mantra. Chapter 65. Could it be her? After confirming that Feng Chengyuan was not in danger of life, Yun Miao breathed a sigh of relief. After Butler Wu helped Feng Chengyuan lie down on the bed, he remembered to ask Yun Miao what had just happened. It was naturally impossible for Yun Miao to tell the truth. He gave a few vague answers and let the matter go. Now that Feng Chengyuan's condition had stabilized, Yun Miao felt that there was no need for him to stay any longer. Afraid that Butler Wu would remember to ask something, Yun Miao quickly pretended to be very sleepy and yawned, and said to Butler Wu, "There's nothing else to do now, so I'll go back and rest first." Butler Wu nodded and did not try to persuade him to stay. So Yun Miao quickly slipped away, returned to his room quickly, and patted his chest to comfort himself. "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." As long as no one noticed, it was safe. After tossing and turning all night, Yun Miao was really tired, so she dragged her tired feet to the bed, and then threw herself on the soft bed. After a while, her breathing became steady and even, and she had obviously fallen asleep. Feng Chengyuan woke up not long after he fell asleep. When he opened his eyes, there was a rare hint of confusion in his deep and sharp eyes. He clearly remembered that after he resolved the issue of Feng Yaoyao, he could not control the surging of his spiritual sea and was almost entering a state of mental riot. He tried hard to restrain himself, but ultimately failed. After that his consciousness became blurred. So what happened next? Feng Chengyuan tried to recall it carefully, but his mind was in chaos. It was as if he heard a voice. That voice seemed to have the magical power to cleanse people's hearts, and his originally frenzied mental strength slowly calmed down. However, when Feng Chengyuan tried to recall the source of the sound, he found that he had no way of knowing it. "Admiral, you are awake. Are you feeling unwell? Do you need me to call a doctor for you?" When Butler Wu found that Feng Chengyuan had woken up, he immediately went forward to inquire about the situation. Feng Chengyuan sat up from the bed, leaned his back against the headboard, and then waved his hand and said, "It's okay, no need to call a doctor. Anyway, I'm used to it, and Feng Chengyuan himself knows his situation." Butler Wu nodded, knowing what Feng Chengyuan wanted to ask after waking up, so he took the lead in briefly explaining everything to him. "When I came in, you had already calmed down. I think the medicine I gave you earlier took effect. Miss Yun has returned safely, but there are some things I haven't had time to ask yet. Also, Miss Yaoyao was taken away by Patriarch Feng and his men." Butler Wu briefly explained several things. Feng Chengyuan listened quietly without much change in his expression. However, when Butler Wu mentioned Yun Miao, Feng Chengyuan's eyes showed a slight fluctuation. Suddenly something flashed through his mind. Feng Chengyuan raised his eyebrows, and finally figured out what he had been feeling strange about. "How similar was the situation last night to the time when my mental power nearly went haywire? Both were inexplicable, and the rioting mental power was pacified." Before, he had asked Butler Wu to investigate the source of the mental fluctuations, but he found nothing. The same situation happened again this time. Feng Chengyuan believed that such a coincidence would not happen in the world. "The only possibility is that someone is helping me secretly. Who is it? Feng Chengyuan suspected everyone he could, and finally locked his target on Yun Miao. Could it be her? Feng Chengyuan thought with some uncertainty, and his expression became more and more solemn. Go call Yun Miao over here. I have something to ask her. Since Feng Chengyuan had doubts in his heart, he would not sit and wait for death. He simply asked directly. Butler Wu didn't understand what was going on, but he quickly went to call Yun Miao over. Yun Miao, who had not slept for several hours, looked a little dazed when he was woken up by Butler Wu. It was not until he saw that it was dawn outside that he realized it was morning. Yun Miao, with a few strands of silly hair on his head, yawned and stood up. After dragging his feet to get dressed and wash up, he rubbed his eyes and followed Butler Wu to Feng Chengyuan. You called me here so early, what's the matter? Yun Miao said without any sense of crisis. Feng Chengyuan had already begun to look at Yun Miao carefully when she entered the room. As they had lived under the same roof before, Feng Chengyuan thought he had some understanding of Yun Miao. At least her detailed information was still stored in his computer. However, now Feng Chengyuan felt that his so-called understanding was too one-sided. There was a peaceful feeling about Yun Miao, which Feng Chengyuan had actually noticed before. He had always thought it was just a trivial matter, and that he just thought she was a little special, and he didn't take it seriously. However, now combined with other things, Feng Chengyuan suddenly realized that perhaps he had really ignored the most important information in front of him. Admiral, why are you staring at me? Yun Miao found that since she entered the room, Feng Chengyuan's eyes had been on her, and she didn't say a word, which made her feel inexplicably nervous. Could it be that he discovered something? Yun Miao's heart skipped a beat, and when he met Feng Chengyuan's eyes, he inexplicably felt a little guilty. Don't you have anything to tell me? Just when Yun Miao was thinking about all sorts of things, Feng Chengyuan suddenly spoke and scared Yun Miao. What? I don't understand what the admiral means. Yun Miao tried hard to calm himself, forced himself to look into Feng Chengyuan's eyes that seemed to be able to see through people, and smiled calmly. Admiral, if you mean what happened by the lake last night, I can only say that I am also a victim. That little girl named Feng Yaoyao suddenly pushed me into the water. Fortunately, I can swim, so I didn't drown in the water. After that, I just wanted to scare her and get a little revenge for myself. Who knew it would turn out like that? Yun Miao spread his hands, looking like he was innocent too, not thinking at all about how full of loopholes his words were. That's not what I want to hear. Feng Chengyuan said in a calm tone. Yun Miao's eyes flickered for a moment, then he blinked and asked in confusion, if it's not this, then which one could it be? Does your mental power have some unknown characteristics? What? Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 66 I Should Call the Police. Features. What are those? Yun Miao looked at Feng Chengyuan blankly, not quite understanding what he meant. But, didn't you doubt your own identity? Yun Miao thought that his cover could no longer be kept secret, but he didn't expect Feng Chengyuan to change his mind at the last minute. It really made Yun Miao feel like riding a roller coaster, with ups and downs. Characteristics are actually some special effects that come with mental power when it is first generated. Seeing that Yun Miao really didn't seem to know anything, Feng Chengyuan spoke up and gave Yun Miao some scientific advice. Characteristics are not common, but the currently known characteristics are mostly related to attack. Often when fighting against an enemy, a person with attack characteristics can increase his or her attack power by up to 10%. Don't underestimate this 10% increase. For a double S-level combat power like Feng Chengyuan, even a 1% increase is already terrifying. However, no one knew that Feng Chengyuan possessed such a terrifying ability, and he had never shown it in front of anyone. If I'm not mistaken, your characteristic should be affinity, an ability to passively influence others. So when Feng Chengyuan got close to Yun Miao before, he felt very relaxed, which should be the effect of the characteristic. At this point, Feng Chengyuan frowned, feeling that he had overlooked something, but he couldn't remember where the loophole was for a moment. Yun Miao listened to Feng Chengyuan's words obediently, and was cheering in his heart. Good thing he didn't guess it. Yun Miao suppressed the smile on his face and nodded seriously. Yes, what the admiral said makes sense. Feng Chengyuan. Unfortunately, your mental strength is too low. If it were higher, it would be of great use. D-level mental power is just slightly better than loser. Feng Chengyuan looked at Yun Miao with a hint of regret in his eyes, which made Yun Miao stunned. For some reason I have the illusion that I am sorry to everyone because of my low mental strength. Opening parenthesis question mark 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 closing parenthesis question mark. What the hell? Yun Miao laughed dryly and threw away the weird thoughts in his mind. Just when Yun Miao was about to test the waters a few more times, Butler Wu walked in from outside. General, old Master Feng wants you to come over. Feng Chengyuan nodded in agreement, then turned the wheelchair and went outside. Yun Miao thought about it and quickly followed Feng Chengyuan and walked towards the living room together. Feng Chengyuan almost got into an accident last night, but the Feng family didn't come to show any concern. Now they want Feng Chengyuan, who should have been resting, to go see them. It feels like something bad is not going to happen. Yun Miao was secretly complaining in his heart, silently feeling sorry for Feng Chengyuan, and before he knew it, he had arrived outside the living room. As soon as he walked in, Yun Miao was shocked by the scene in front of him. Old Master Feng sat in the host seat with a cane, his wrinkled face revealing a bit of majesty. Feng Zhen and Feng Qing were also sitting on the sofa, both with ugly expressions. At first glance, if you didn't know, you would think that something earth-shattering had happened, something big enough to shake the foundation of the Feng family. Seeing Feng Chengyuan appear, old man Feng immediately clenched his cane, as if he was restraining something. Feng Zhen and Feng Qing immediately stood up from their seats, glaring at Feng Chengyuan and asking, "Do you know what you have done? You have ruined the future of the Feng family. Feng Chengyuan, you must have done it on purpose, right? You tore Yao Yao's spiritual sea apart on purpose. You destroyed her." Feng Qing's eyes were bloodshot, like a wild beast about to go mad. If Feng Zhen hadn't been there to block him, he would have rushed directly to Feng Chengyuan to settle the score with him. When they learned that Feng Yaoyao possessed extremely high mental power, several people in charge of the Feng family seemed to see hope for the future. She was still young, and as long as she was well trained in the future, she might achieve great success. When they brought the unconscious Feng Yaoyao back, they had almost made the best plan for her life in their minds. However, after they called the family doctor to examine Feng Yaoyao, they got a result that none of them could accept. Feng Yaoyao's spiritual sea has been destroyed, and she can only be an ordinary person in this life. Gain and loss occurred almost at the same time, and Mr. Feng's emotions suddenly fluctuated drastically, and he almost vomited blood in anger. Feng Zhen and Feng Qing even regarded Feng Chengyuan as the culprit. "Why are you doing this?" Old Master Feng banged his cane on the ground, making a series of dull noises, but even so he couldn't vent the anger in his heart at the moment. Feng Chengyuan quietly watched the people in front of him pointing at him to vent their anger, without saying a word. However, his indifferent reaction seemed to add fuel to their anger, making the fire in their hearts burn more and more fiercely. Yun Miao was a little confused and quietly asked Butler Wu, only then did he find out what was going on. He couldn't help but smack his lips in amazement, thinking that Feng Chengyuan was really ruthless. However, Yun Miao didn't feel disgusted at all. Moreover, she believed that Feng Chengyuan was not the kind of person who would do something ruthless without any reason. Since he did so, there must be a reason. However, seeing the people in front of him constantly blaming Feng Chengyuan, Yun Miao felt a little uncomfortable. After all, he was also somewhat responsible for this matter, so he thought about it and stood up directly. "You think that the admiral has ruined Feng Yaoyao's future, but have you ever thought that although Feng Yaoyao is still young, her mind is already twisted? She dares to kill people at will now. What will she be like when she grows up and becomes more powerful?" As soon as Yun Miao finished speaking, he was refuted by Feng Qing. "She was so young, how could she possibly kill someone? Who did she kill?" Yun Miao did not hold back and directly told what had happened before. The Feng family members were all shocked when they heard it and did not believe what Yun Miao said. Believe it or not, I was almost killed by her. Yun Miao seemed to have thought of something and asked Feng Chengyuan, in this case, it should be okay for me to call the police, right? Feng Chengyuan looked at Yun Miao's bright smile as she blinked her eyes. How could he not know that she was trying to help him out? However, he is not yet so weak that he needs a woman to protect him. According to Article 1358 of the federal law, when a legal citizen of the Federation. Enough. Old Master Feng stared at Feng Chengyuan with a dim gaze, his eyes were cold. He was sure that Feng Chengyuan was really capable of bringing people to his home to arrest someone. Feng Chengyuan calmly raised his eyes to look at Old Man Feng and said, "There is one thing you are all wrong about." Everyone was stunned, and then they heard Feng Chengyuan continue, "Even if I didn't take action, you couldn't stop her. If the spiritual sea hadn't been annihilated directly before, she would have been torn into pieces by the rioting energy. Now at least she is still alive. What's the point of living?" Feng Qing was filled with resentment. What he wanted was a daughter with high mental power, not a useless waste. Mr. Feng and Feng Zhen also remained silent, obviously having the same idea. Yun Miao saw the reactions of several people, but silently complained in his heart. Such cold-blooded family members are rare. Feng Yaoyao has a twisted personality. Obviously, these so-called family members are more responsible than anyone else. Thinking of this, Yun Miao unconsciously glanced at Feng Chengyuan again. I wonder what his life was like before. Chapter 67 unlocked successfully. The matter of Feng Yaoyao eventually came to nothing. The Feng family had no way to deal with Feng Chengyuan. Even if they hated Feng Chengyuan's actions, they had no way to do anything to him. Moreover, things had come to this point. It would be more reliable to get some tangible benefits from Feng Chengyuan. So, after some negotiations, Mr. Feng expressed his thoughts. The 7th Legion was founded by your father. Now that it is in your hands, you can carry forward the reputation of the Legion. However, given your current situation, I don't think you will be able to continue leading the army in the future. Why don't you choose a suitable successor from now on? I think An Nan is a good candidate. You should bring him along and train him well. As Feng Chengyuan listened to what Old Man Feng said, his eyes gradually turned cold. After Mr. Feng finished speaking, Feng Zhen and Feng Qing also looked at Feng Chengyuan, waiting for his answer. Feng Chengyuan sneered and said, "What if I don't want to?" Old Master Feng moved his hands, as if he wanted to use his cane to hit the ground to express his anger, but he finally held back and softened his tone and said to Feng Chengyuan, "Chengyuan, you can't act on impulse. This concerns the future of the Feng family. Do you want the 7th Legion to fall into the hands of outsiders?" Seeing that Feng Chengyuan was unmoved, a trace of impatience flashed in Old Man Feng's eyes. He rubbed his forehead with his hand, revealing a bit of fatigue and said, "Okay, this matter is settled, let's all go." After saying that, Mr. Feng quickly stood up, and with the help of Feng Zhen and Feng Qing, he hurried away. His back looked as if he was afraid that if he was a step slower, his plan would fail. Yun Miao stood quietly by and watched the whole process. He was a little dumbfounded at this moment. These people are really rude and don't consider at all whether Feng Chengyuan will agree to this. Are they sure they have him in their hands? Your Excellency the Admiral. Butler Wu also looked at Feng Chengyuan with some concern, afraid that he would be angry about this, but Feng Chengyuan just waved his hand and said 2 words calmly. Go back. Yun Miao didn't understand what Feng Chengyuan was thinking. A man like him shouldn't compromise so easily. But now he didn't express any opinions. Did he agree with those people's arrangements? Although he had many doubts in his mind, these were not things Yun Miao should ask about. After returning, Yun Miao did not disturb Feng Chengyuan and went back to his room to catch up on his sleep. After Feng Chengyuan and Butler Wu returned to the room, Butler Wu told Feng Chengyuan what he had done last night while looking for someone, without waiting for Feng Chengyuan to ask. When I came back, I secretly placed a micro-recording device in the study of Master Feng. I also followed your instructions and kept hinting to you to investigate Madame Chu Li's affairs during the few days I stayed. I thought they would definitely respond. Last night, I took advantage of the time to find someone to retrieve the recording device, and indeed, I extracted some useful information. As he spoke, Butler Wu operated on his light computer and sent several recordings to Feng Chengyuan. It's been 20 years. Why did he think of investigating this matter? Didn't he see Chu Li leaving a suicide note with his own eyes? Why is he pursuing her again now? The voice in the audio was Feng Zhen's, and he sounded very angry. Could it be that Feng Ming left some message for that kid before? That's why he became suspicious. This is Feng Qing's voice. Then there was a period of silence, followed by Feng Zhen's voice again. No matter what, we must never let anyone know what happened back then. Chu Li, she is the shame of our Feng family. We must never let her name see the light of day again. Father should also urge them. If the Feng family wants to go further, they need someone who can be controlled more easily to act as the sharp knife. Feng Ming is not that person, and Feng Chengyuan is not that person either. Their hearts have long since strayed from the Feng family and are beyond their control. What happened back then? Let him investigate. After all, 20 years have passed. Can he find any clues? Chu Li died in an accident. This will not change no matter how many years pass. After the audio was played, Feng Chengyuan remained silent for a long time, with no expression on his face. However, Butler Wu could feel that Feng Chengyuan was suppressing a rage. For a moment, the atmosphere in the room seemed to become solemn. After a long while, Feng Chengyuan slowly loosened his clenched hands, and the awe-inspiring aura on his body slowly subsided. Now is not the time to be angry. The most important thing is that he is now very sure that there was definitely something strange about his mother's death, and his father seems to know something, but for some reason he has been hiding it from him. Let's go to my father's study. Thinking of the safe that Butler Wu mentioned before, Feng Chengyuan suddenly became interested and wanted to see what was inside. The two of them soon arrived at the study, which had been sealed up ever since Feng Ming and Feng Chengyuan moved out. That's what Feng Ming meant. He was the undisputed jewel of the Feng family back then, and what he said was as effective as Grandpa Feng's. He made sure that no one dared to enter the sealed place, which might be the reason why no one discovered the things inside after so many years. Butler Wu walked forward and pushed open the bookshelf, and sure enough, the safe hidden at the back was revealed. Feng Chengyuan stepped forward and reached out to touch the safe, and suddenly a light screen lit up on it, flashing red light, and several red prompts popped up. If it is not me, please stop the operation immediately. If you fail 3 times, the stored items will be automatically destroyed. Please try carefully. Closing square bracket. Feng Chengyuan ignored it and directly clicked on the unlocking interface. After thinking for a while, he entered a few numbers, and the red prompt appeared again. Question mark. Unlock failed. Seeing the red font, Feng Chengyuan frowned. He entered the password his father used to use, but the display showed that the unlocking failed. Could it be? What could it be? Because of the limit on the number of times, Feng Chengyuan did not try rashly, but carefully recalled the most likely password to unlock the computer. Suddenly, as if he thought of something, he reached out and touched the unlocking interface of the light screen again, and quickly pressed a line of numbers. He was not at all nervous. In fact, when he pressed the line of numbers, he felt heavy in his heart, because that line of numbers was the time of his mother's death, which his father had asked him to remember. Question mark. Unlocked successfully. With a click sound, the safe was unlocked. Chapter 68. He probably doesn't mind. Yun Miao took a nap, and when he woke up it was already noon. The servant of the Feng family just brought food over. Yun Miao wanted to call Feng Chengyuan to have dinner together, but after knocking on the door for a long time there was no response. Did you go out? Yun Miao couldn't help but feel a little confused, but he didn't think too much about it. He went back to his room, had lunch, and started preparing for the afternoon live broadcast. The live broadcast ball had fallen at the pavilion in the middle of the lake, but was later picked up by Butler Wu and returned to Yun Miao, saving her the trouble of spending money to buy another live broadcast ball. After all, the debts have not been paid off yet. This time, Yun Miao is not planning to go to the lakeside pavilion again. She will just start a live broadcast from where she lives now to avoid any accidents. Besides, the environment of the courtyard where she lives now is also good, with an ancient flavor and full of charm. It would be nice to choose a suitable corner as the live broadcast background. After making the decision, Yun Miao brought the live broadcast ball to the yard, chose a corner where a wall was covered with silver leaves and sat down, then turned on the live broadcast ball directly. The live broadcast room was connected, and the live broadcast interface popped up instantly on the optical computer. Yun Miao looked at the growing number of audience members, waved, and greeted them with a smile. Hello everyone, welcome to the live broadcast room of Zai Shui Yi Fang. I am the anchor Yun Miao. As soon as Yun Miao opened his mouth, the audience in the live broadcast room began to constantly swipe the screen to greet him. Yun Miao was very happy to see that everyone was still so enthusiastic. The anchor lady doesn't look very good today. Closing square bracket. Question mark. Are you sick? Question mark. Meow meow, remember to see a doctor if you are sick. Question mark comma question mark. Yun Miao was stunned for a moment when he saw the barrage selected by the system. He reached out and touched his face, feeling a little confused. I feel fine. There's nothing wrong. Maybe I didn't get enough rest last night. Although I made up for my sleep after coming back, I still felt a little sleepy after waking up. It might be because I used too much force when I helped Feng Chengyuan to comfort him. You didn't live stream for a long time last night, and you still say you didn't get enough rest. Tell me the truth, what little goblin seduced you away? Closing square bracket. I don't care, I have to make up for last night's portion today. Question mark. Added. Question mark. I want more, more. Yun Miao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She naturally couldn't tell what happened last night, so she quickly made a few vague remarks to brush the matter off, and then said, I will live broadcast for a longer time today, as compensation for everyone. As soon as these words were spoken, the live broadcast room immediately began to give rewards as a celebration. Yun Miao did not hesitate and clicked on the accompaniment prepared in advance, and then a melodious music sounded. Falling flowers flying all over the sky. Snow water lily. The leaves are falling, the boat is turning, the heart is sad. Dusk shines over the village. Raindrops hit the eaves. At night, I gaze into the night sky, but my heart is far away. Note 1. When Feng Chengyuan came back, he heard Yun Miao singing as soon as he reached the door. He moved his hand slightly and the wheelchair stopped moving. Butler Wu was wondering what was going on. After hearing Yun Miao's voice, he was stunned for a moment before reacting. He looked at Feng Chengyuan in surprise and couldn't help but complain in his heart. Is the admiral afraid of disturbing Miss Yun's live broadcast? No way. Oh my god, has the admiral finally figured it out? So happy. However, just as Butler Wu was surprised and couldn't help but think wildly, Feng Chengyuan, who had originally stopped the wheelchair, regained control of the wheelchair and entered the courtyard. Butler Wu, okay, I was just being too sentimental. Feng Chengyuan actually stopped just now because he felt a strange mental fluctuation. It was very weak, but inexplicably made people feel very comfortable. That was why he stopped and wanted to figure out where that fluctuation came from. What surprised him was that the faint mental fluctuation seemed to come from the direction of Yun Miao. Feng Chengyuan's expression changed slightly, and he suddenly felt that his previous guess might be wrong. Yun Miao's mental power might not be simply related to his characteristics. How could a mere D-level mental power be able to continuously cover such a large area? Thinking of this, the look of inquiry in Feng Chengyuan's eyes became even more intense. He felt that perhaps Yun Miao herself had some unknown special qualities. Yun Miao was concentrating on singing and didn't notice Feng Chengyuan and Butler Wu walking in from outside. In addition, there was a large area of silver-white leaves where she was, which was quite beautiful but blocked her view. She could hardly see the entrance to the courtyard from where she was sitting. Therefore, when Feng Chengyuan and the others walked over from the opposite corridor, Yun Miao saw them. Yun Miao had just finished singing a song and had no time to look at the comments. He quickly said something to the people in the live broadcast room, then stood up and walked towards Feng Chengyuan. Sorry, I didn't know you were coming back so soon. If it disturbs your rest, I can go to another place to broadcast live. Yun Miao was ready for the other party to ask her to move to another place, but Feng Chengyuan unexpectedly waved his hand and said, "It won't disturb me, please feel free to do as you like." Having said that, Feng Chengyuan had no intention of going into the house and just stayed where he was, which made Yun Miao a little confused. However, she couldn't leave the live broadcast room for too long, so she could only smile apologetically and return to her seat. After coming back, Yun Miao casually flipped through the barrage he had selected before. It sounds good, it sounds good. Although I don't understand it, it doesn't stop me from thinking it sounds good. Closing square bracket. What language is this? It doesn't sound like the common language of the Federation. I am not well informed. This is the language of KM502. Many people there do not use the common language of the Federation. Yun Miao nodded, agreeing with the audience's answer. When she decided to sing this song, she was struggling with how to explain the language of the song. After all, it was different from the federal common language. For this reason, she searched for it on the optical computer for a long time. Finally, after much effort, she found a relatively similar one, and then decided to sing this song. Fortunately, the audience did not dwell too much on this issue, but were very concerned about Yun Miao's departure just now. Question mark. Why did I hear a man's voice just now? Is it true? Why didn't I hear it? What kind of ears do you have? Closing square bracket. Host, please tell me, is there a man who is trying to seduce you? I'm telling you, I don't agree with this marriage. Closing square bracket. The person in front is sick, you also care about the anchor's private affairs. Question mark. I want you to take care of it. Question mark, comma, question mark. The comments in the live broadcast room suddenly changed, and within a short while, they started to quarrel. Yun Miao almost couldn't react, and he immediately explained, "Don't guess, it's a friend. I just told him that I was afraid that the live broadcast would disturb him. It's nothing." When Yun Miao said the word, friend, he glanced in Feng Chengyuan's direction with a guilty conscience. At this moment, Yun Miao suddenly felt that he was going too far. Looking back, she actually wanted to draw a line between herself and Feng Chengyuan at the beginning, but the uneasiness of arriving in a strange world made her instinctively want to find an ally who could stand with her. Apart from the people of the Yun family, the only person who had a relationship with her was the strange Feng Chengyuan. Although he was a stranger, he helped her time and time again. It was because of this that she took the initiative to get close to Feng Chengyuan. Maybe this will make her annoying, but she just wants to find an anchor point that makes her feel at ease in this strange world. However, that was just an explanation of rights and interests. He shouldn't mind, right? Note 1 is Chen Zhanpeng's version of Sheng Sheng Man. Chapter 69. The live broadcast room started a quarrel. The host's expression is strange. This friend is not simple. I'm afraid it's not a male friend. Closing square bracket. There was a lot of ridicule in the comments, but there weren't any bad comments, which made Yun Miao feel relieved. However, he couldn't let the audience make blind guesses, so he quickly changed the subject. Do you guys still want to listen to the song? If not, then I won't sing. I do. If anyone dares to say they don't want to, I'll get angry. Closing square bracket. Question mark. General Yinbai gave a spaceship as a reward. The south wind knows my intention and rewards. Question mark, comma, question mark. The reward special effects started to appear, and the live broadcast room suddenly became colorful and exciting. Yun Miao was speechless for a while. After stealing a glance at Feng Chengyuan and making sure that he had no objection, he pretended nothing had happened and continued the live broadcast. Feng Chengyuan had been watching from the side, his eyes becoming more thoughtful. After Yun Miao sang 3 songs, Feng Chengyuan suddenly asked Butler Wu, "What's the name of her live studio?" He remembered what Yun Miao had said before, but he didn't take it to heart at the time. Wu Guanjia replied, on the other side of the water. Feng Chengyuan nodded after thinking for a while, but did not explain why he asked this. In my ears, Yun Miao's singing continued. I never forget. Next time I will still be staring at you. You crossed the ocean in silence. The beauty left behind by hitting the bank. I follow you. Let the memories follow the tides. Leave tears. Lost on the cold, wet beach. Sighing alone. Quote. Note 1. Feng Chengyuan turned and left. Yun Miao felt it, and glanced over there inadvertently. Seeing that the person had left, he breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. When she was being stared at just now, although she told herself not to take it too seriously, she was actually still very nervous. She had the illusion that she was being inspected and supervised by her boss at work. After relaxing, Yun Miao became more enthusiastic and bold in interacting with the audience. Now Yun Miao has become accustomed to the live broadcast state and can chat with the audience more freely. The audience in the live broadcast room also likes the atmosphere of this live broadcast room, especially when Yun Miao turns on holographic sharing, which makes those audiences who choose the holographic mode feel relaxed while listening to the music. Although we have entered the interstellar high-tech era, the pressure at work and in life has not actually decreased much, especially with the threats from alien races and various other external influences. Therefore, people actually have a vague sense of tension in their hearts. Perhaps this is also the reason for the frequent occurrence of mental riots in recent years. Zhou Yuan is an ordinary person without mental power. He is a clerk in an interstellar travel company. His job is to travel to various planets with the spacecraft and provide services to all the passengers on the spacecraft. However, flowers come in many shapes and sizes, and people come in many different shapes and sizes. There are always some guests who are extremely difficult to serve, and it is the flight attendants like Zhou Yuan who often suffer from the harassment. However, due to job requirements, Zhou Yuan, as a flight attendant, can only say and do nothing when being harassed and can only swallow his anger silently. Over a long period of time, it was inevitable that too much resentment would accumulate in his heart, causing his personality to become irritable and short-tempered. As a result, he had several major conflicts with customers and was warned several times by his supervisor, who said that if it happened again, he would be fired directly. Zhou Yuan entered the live broadcast room of Zai Shui Yifeng accidentally, and was stunned by Yun Miao's singing at that time. In particular, he found that every time he listened to Yun Miao's singing, his mood would remain happy and comfortable for a long time. The depression that had been suppressed in his heart seemed to dissipate a lot, and he directly became a loyal fan of the live broadcast room. For this purpose, he recommended it to many of his colleagues, making them fans of Yun Miao like himself. In the end, he even persuaded his supervisor to replace the music usually played on the spacecraft with Yun Miao's singing. At first everyone thought Zhou Yuan was crazy, but after everyone felt the charm of Yun Miao's singing, they finally understood what was so fascinating about it. Sounds amazing. I feel like I become more motivated while working while listening to that song. The passengers on the spaceship also felt happy. When they heard the music on the spaceship, some of them might not have taken it seriously, but after listening to it once, they were completely fascinated by it. In the peaceful and harmonious atmosphere created by the songs, there were even fewer critical passengers, making the crew's work easier. However, no one on the spaceship thought that such a result would be caused by Yun Miao's singing. But not everyone was unaware of it. Among those who had heard the song, there were always some quick-witted people who had doubts in their hearts and paid more attention to the singing Yun Miao. But Yun Miao didn't know all this. After 2 hours of live streaming, she was ready to say goodbye to the netizens in the live streaming room. But when she was about to turn off the live broadcast, she saw a few comments selected on the screen, and they all looked very unfriendly. I heard that the anchor came from the slums. Why doesn't he look like one? Closing square bracket. Also, the host's live broadcast environment doesn't look like an ordinary place. Is there some inside story? Closing square bracket. What's the inside story? She's being kept by someone. Tisk tisk tisk, the real person never shows his true colors. Question mark, comma, question mark. Yun Miao looked at the barrage of comments selected by the system this time, all of which were bad, and his brows couldn't help but frown. Many of the barrage of comments that could be filtered out by the system with a high probability appeared multiple times, which means that they had been on the screen in the live broadcast room countless times. Yun Miao usually rarely opens all the barrages because the screen in the live broadcast room refreshes too quickly. He only chooses to open the filtered barrages. Now, after seeing these bad barrages, Yun Miao thought about opening all the barrages to take a look. The moment all the barrages were opened, there seemed to be flashes of light on the light screen in front of Yun Miao, but in a flash the light turned back into barrages that quickly refreshed the screen. Yun Miao watched hard for a while before he got used to the speed of the barrage and could clearly see the questions asked by the audience. The host looks good when he frowns. Those people are so annoying. How come there is no one managing the live broadcast room? I am so angry. Doesn't the anchor know this? Kick that annoying guy out quickly. Closing square bracket. Does asking questions annoy you? If the host has no problem, wouldn't it be fine if he just answered it? Are you crazy? You want to control the privacy of the anchor. Closing square bracket. Question mark, comma, question mark. Looking at the audience who had started arguing at some point, Yun Miao felt that something was wrong, as if someone was deliberately leading them. Who is it? Yun Miao didn't have time to think about who caused the trouble. The current situation was that he had to calm the audience down first. I'm sorry, I just saw everyone's comments and realized that everyone was arguing about my matter. I would like everyone to calm down and listen to my comments. Note 1. The song is Qi Xie's Tide. Chapter 70. You are worth it. As soon as Yun Miao opened his mouth, the speed at which the barrage of comments in the live broadcast room seemed to slow down a lot, but some people were still arguing. However, Yun Miao also knew that there were so many people in the live broadcast room, and it was impossible for everyone to listen to him, so he did not wait any longer and spoke directly. I have seen what everyone was discussing just now, and I have something to say about this. Yun Miao looked at the live camera with clear eyes, without any feeling of guilt. I don't know who started those bad comments. I hope everyone can stay calm. I am just a singing host. I want to bring all the songs I like to everyone, so I stand in front of everyone. Regarding my identity or interpersonal relationships or other things, these are all my personal privacy. I think everyone does not want their privacy to be pried into. This is very rude. So did the anchor come from the slums? Closing square bracket. Are you saying this to deny that you are from the ghetto? That's right, people from the ghetto are all low-class garbage. Closing square bracket. What are you talking about, dog? Did the people in our slum eat your rice? Or did they drink your nutritional supplements? Keep your mouth shut. Closing square bracket. Oh, garbage is garbage. As far as I know, people in the slums basically only wear basic optical computers, which can't even access the star network. Where did you steal that optical computer, you rubbish? Closing square bracket. Be a man of few words, they didn't provoke you. Question mark, comma, question mark. In the blink of an eye, the barrage of comments sped up again, and it was obvious that the quarrel had started again. The expression on Yun Miao's face had become gloomy and his look had become very serious. First of all, I want to say one thing. I have never denied anything. Secondly, people in the slums also live by working with their own hands. They may have to live in the slums with poor resources for various reasons. Some people are sinking into despair, but there are more people who are still living in the sun. They are trying hard to get rid of their tragic fate and would rather bear more hardships to break free from the shackles of fate. I don't think you are qualified to criticize them for working so hard and call them trash. In my eyes, you are worse than trash. Every word Yun Miao spoke was sonorous and powerful. As soon as he finished speaking, a mecha full of technological elements suddenly flew across the interface of the live broadcast room. It flew around the entire interface, leaving a circle of beautiful fireworks before disappearing. The timing was just right, as if it was cheering for what Yun Miao had just said. Maple Leaf gave the anchor a mecha as a reward. Closing square bracket. Yun Miao immediately saw the message prompted by the anchor system and was stunned. Isn't this person's timing too accurate? And if I remember correctly, one mecha costs 1 million star coins. Who is this person? Previously, the netizen named Li Jin gave a reward of a brilliant galaxy. Yun Miao even suspected that the other party might have accidentally clicked the wrong button. He had planned to contact him later, but he couldn't get in touch with him no matter what. Now another rich man has come. This is really challenging Yun Miao's heartbeat. But before Yun Miao could say anything, the live broadcast room was flooded with gifts again. A local tyrant suddenly appeared. No, it was a super tyrant. The anchor lady said it very well. All the rich guys are giving you thumbs up. Closing square bracket. Don't listen to those people. We love anchor girls no matter what their identities are. Closing square bracket. Some people just can't stand seeing others doing well. Could it be that someone hired some trolls to deliberately stir up trouble? Closing square bracket. Question mark, comma, question mark. Netizens started posting comments, and one comment with its own special effects and colorful lights stayed on the interface for 5 seconds. It was obviously the fan who had posted the mecha just now. Question mark. Ignore it. These 4 short words are filled with the coolness of a wealthy and powerful person. Yun Miao was stunned for a moment before he said with a smile, "Thank you Feng Yi for the mecha, but the gift is too expensive." Question mark. You are worth it. These 3 simple words made Yun Miao unable to say the rest of the words. After hesitating for a moment, Yun Miao thanked the fan named Feng Yi again and then turned back to the previous topic. She looked at the comments in the live broadcast room. Because of the gifts just now, the bad comments had been pushed to the ground and could not be seen. They did not show up for the time being, but Yun Miao did not intend to let them go. Instead, she said sternly, "My live broadcast room does not welcome anyone who insults and slanders others without reason, so I will directly clear out those people and permanently block them. In addition, I will also keep your comments and hand them over to the Federal Star Network Regulatory Department for processing. Remember, Starnet is not a lawless place." After Yun Miao finished speaking, he didn't want to continue broadcasting. He said goodbye to the audience and turned off the live broadcast. With a long sigh of relief, Yun Miao put away the live broadcast ball and hurried back to his room to drink water. He had been live streaming for 2 hours, singing and talking, and his throat was about to smoke. But she walked too fast and didn't see that when she entered, Butler Wu, who had just walked out of Feng Chengyuan's room, gave her a strange look. In the evening, Yun Miao did not have dinner with Feng Chengyuan because Feng Chengyuan needed to treat his legs in the room, so Butler Wu directly brought Feng Chengyuan's portion to the room. "It's time for dinner, Admiral." Butler Wu brought dinner to Feng Chengyuan. Feng Chengyuan simply took a few bites and put down his chopsticks. Butler Wu did not persuade him to eat more because he knew that if the food was not to his liking, Feng Chengyuan might rather take nutritional supplements. After dinner and a short rest, Butler Wu pushed the instrument for treating the legs over and began to give Feng Chengyuan routine treatment. Feng Chengyuan has already gotten used to this aspect. He has lost feeling in his legs for half a year. The current treatment is just to prevent the muscles from necrosis and atrophy. He almost doesn't think about the possibility of recovery of his legs. However, this time, when those numb nerves were stimulated, Feng Chengyuan felt a tingling sensation like a needle prick for a moment, not severe, but very obvious. Feng Chengyuan was stunned, and his fingers clenched into fists in an instant. "Admiral, what's wrong with you?" Butler Wu, who was waiting on the side, noticed Feng Chengyuan's abnormality and immediately asked. Feng Chengyuan frowned and said nothing. He raised his hand to signal Butler Wu not to speak. He then carefully sensed whether the tingling sensation he had just felt was real. However, the brief tingling sensation disappeared too quickly. It was gone before Feng Chengyuan could even sense it. He waited for a long time but still felt nothing. Was it just an illusion? Feng Chengyuan couldn't tell whether he was disappointed or not, he just felt a little complicated. However, just when he thought he had just sensed it wrong, the same tingling sensation as before appeared again. Check out our playlist for more amazing novels. Chapter 71 Bah, Scumbag. It's not an illusion. This time, Feng Chengyuan clearly felt the slight tingling sensation in his feet, which was a bit sore, numb and swollen, but it was impossible to ignore. My feet seem to have some feeling now, Feng Chengyuan murmured. Butler Wu couldn't believe it, and quickly operated the instrument and quickly adjusted the response band of the neurons during the treatment just now. Sure enough, the reaction band, which had hardly fluctuated at first, suddenly showed very obvious fluctuations at a certain moment. Although it did not last long, there was indeed movement. My Lord Admiral, there is really a reaction, Butler Wu reported happily. Feng Chengyuan's mood was also very complicated. For more than half a year, his legs had been in a state of no feeling at all. Now that he suddenly had feeling, he even suspected that he was dreaming. The fluctuations are still very weak, but this is a good sign. Your legs are definitely getting better. Butler Wu was very excited. No one understood Feng Chengyuan's condition better than him. It was precisely because of this understanding that he was so excited at this moment. Feng Chengyuan thought so too. However, Feng Chengyuan couldn't help but have some guesses in his mind as to why he suddenly got better. Is it related to my insistence on treatment? Obviously not, so what could it be? For a moment, Feng Chengyuan thought of the spiritual fluctuations he felt from Yun Miao. The kind of spiritual fluctuations that made him feel relaxed were something he had never encountered before. Could it be because of that? Feng Chengyuan couldn't think of an answer, so he could only put the matter aside for the time being and began to concentrate on rehabilitating his legs. Although that feeling never appeared again, it did not make Feng Chengyuan lose confidence. Instead, it made him more determined that one day he would be able to stand up again. The next day, Feng Chengyuan asked Butler Wu to ask for his resignation from Old Master Feng. The purpose of his return this time was to find clues. Now that he had obtained what he wanted, he did not want to stay any longer. However, when Butler Wu went to ask for his resignation, Old Master Feng directly rejected him and got very angry at him. You really don't want to stay and attend the old man's birthday party? Does he consider himself a member of the Feng family? Go back and tell him that no matter what, he must stay until after my birthday party is over. After Mr. Feng's reprimand, Butler Wu had no choice but to come back and report to Feng Chengyuan with Mr. Feng's request. After listening to this, Feng Chengyuan was silent for a moment and nodded in agreement. After Yun Miao's last live broadcast, she did what she said and saved all the bad comments, then packaged them together and sent them to the Internet Monitoring Department. She didn't know how this situation would be resolved, but even if a case could not be filed, those who made rude remarks would at least receive a warning, right? The warnings from this world are much more serious, it would be good to teach them a lesson. However, Yun Miao felt that there must be someone behind those people, but she couldn't find out who it was. After thinking about it, she finally suspected the Yun family, because Yun Miao felt that she seemed to only have problems with the Yun family in this world. Thinking about this, Yun Miao felt that his previous choice to ignore the Yun family seemed to be a mistake. When she first arrived, although Yun Miao received the memories of her original body, she was still extremely unfamiliar with this world. Even though she was plotted against by the Yun family and targeted by Yun Bei, she chose to swallow her anger temporarily. She was not sure how she would deal with the revenge of the Yun family if she stood up to resist at that time, so she chose to take a long-term view and take it step by step. But now it seems that my previous actions made them think that I was too weak and could be bullied, which is why they came to bully me again and again. Haha, it seems that it is time to let them know that I am not someone who can be bullied at will now. Yun Miao thought so and immediately began to consider how to settle accounts with the Yun family. It was known that the Yun family was rich, but Yun Miao was not really sure to what extent they were rich. Therefore, the first thing Yun Miao had to do was to find out the background of the Yun family. He should not take action on his own, otherwise others would easily solve the problem, which would be really funny. Yun Miao went directly to Star Network and searched for keywords such as Yun family and Yun Songcheng, and quickly filtered out the content he wanted. The Yun family first made their fortune in the catering industry, and they were well known in the capital Star. A few decades ago, this industry was not as depressed as it is now, so the Yun family prospered for a long time. However, later on, nutritional supplements became popular in the interstellar space, and traditional catering was hit hard, so the Yun family's financial resources shrank a lot. Especially Yun Songchung's marriage to Yun Miao's mother made the Yun family a laughingstock in the upper-class circle. As a result, the Yun family's industry was also affected a lot, and the old man of the Yun family was almost angry to death. Fortunately, less than a year later, after Yun Miao's mother disappeared, Yun Songchung turned back to the right path and married Yu Qingru, the daughter of the Yu family, which saved the family from decline. Over the years, although Yun Songchung has made many changes to Yun's catering and even joined the ranks of nutritional supplement manufacturers, the impact it once suffered has not been reversed. Yun Miao read the news he found on the Star Internet, and as he read, he became distracted and unknowingly focused on the missing biological mother of the original body, who was also Yun Miao's mother. There is very little information about Yun Miao's biological mother that can be found on the Star Internet. It was only because the gossip media at the time were curious about Yun Songchung's rebellious decision to marry an ordinary woman that they followed and reported on the matter for a period of time. However, there are very few front-facing photos, most of them are from the back or side. But from these alone, it can be seen that she is a very beautiful woman. Her name is Haiyu, a woman of unknown origin. After marrying Yun Songchung, she suddenly disappeared without a trace while pregnant. Not only did Yun Songchung not look for her, he even turned around and married Yu Qingru and gave birth to Yun Hao, who was older than Yun Miao. Even so's don't give birth this fast, okay. There's something wrong with this one. Yun Miao had already guessed something when she first learned about her original body's situation, but at the time all she wanted was to leave the Yun family, even if that meant getting married off. Therefore, Yun Miao didn't care too much about the Yun family, a family she had no feelings for, or her biological mother who abandoned her when she was a child. But after seeing these, Yun Miao became interested. Under what circumstances can a woman who marries later give birth to a child earlier than the first wife? That's obviously the case of extramarital affair. Bah, scumbag. Yun Miao felt very disgusted with such men. After knowing this situation, he felt even less guilty about what he was going to do next. Isn't the Yun family a restaurant business? Then I'll start from there, cut off their financial resources first, and then see if the Yun family will bother me again. Chapter 72. Are all big guys so mysterious? It is impossible for Yun Miao to attack the Yun family by herself, but she has a partner, doesn't she? Wang Chen was too busy to go to the live broadcast room to listen to music, as he was busy with the reopening of his Genting restaurant. After Yun Miao's guidance and her technical investment, Wang Chen only did a simple promotion and the reopened Genting restaurant became an instant hit in the circle. The circle is naturally a circle of food lovers like Wang Chen. It brings together food lovers from all walks of life and all classes, commonly known as gourmets. Sometimes they even search all over the planet to eat their favorite food. The recipes offered by Wang Chen's Genting restaurant are all provided by Yun Miao. Under Wang Chen's promotion, gourmets come to support the restaurant one after another. After they have eaten, they are instantly captivated by the delicious food and even wish they could enjoy 3 meals a day in Genting restaurant. For a time, Genting restaurant became extremely popular and customers flocked to it. Some people even posted the popular scene on Starnet, which attracted even more customers. When Yun Miao contacted Wang Chen was in high spirits. When he saw it was Yun Miao's call, he answered it immediately. Ms. Yun, our restaurant is very popular. Thank you so much. I would not have been able to achieve this without your help. As soon as Wang Chen opened his mouth, he kept thanking Yun Miao. Yun Miao was not too surprised by this and immediately changed the subject without waiting for Wang Chen to say more words of praise. Have you fulfilled the bet between you and your father? Yun Miao asked with a smile. Wang Chen nodded somewhat embarrassedly and said, my dad saw the performance of Genting restaurant and praised me for the first time. I was embarrassed to take credit for it, so I told my dad about Miss Yun. He also said that he wanted to meet Miss Yun when he was free. Yun Miao was secretly delighted when he heard this. Isn't it just the right time for someone to hand him a pillow when he feels sleepy? Therefore, Yun Miao did not hide it and directly expressed his idea of cooperating with Wang Chen or Wang Chen's father. Wang Chen was very happy and immediately called his father. Soon a middle-aged man who looked a little serious but had a very upright appearance joined the call. As soon as he saw Wang Chen, the middle-aged man instinctively wanted to teach him a lesson. Wang Chen knew his father's temper, so he immediately explained the reason for calling him. The middle-aged man then noticed Yun Miao's figure on the light screen. I'm Wang Suihen. I've heard Wang Chen talk about Miss Yun many times before. It's an honor for me to finally meet Miss Yun this time. Wang Chen's father is indeed a businessman. He changes his expression quickly. Just now he had a stern face and was about to scold his son, but in the blink of an eye he was greeting Yun Miao with a smile on his face. Yun Miao didn't mind. After chatting politely with Wang Suihan for a few words, he expressed his desire to cooperate with Suihan chain when the other party asked him about it. Suihan restaurant chain is relatively well known in the industry, but it is still a little bit inferior to Yun's. Hearing Yun Miao's idea of sniping Yun's, Wang Suihan was silent at first, and then asked in confusion. From the sound of Miss Yun's last name, she should be related to the Yun family. Why would she attack the Yun family? Wang Suihan was very alert, fearing that this was a trap set by the Yun family. Yun Miao smiled indifferently and said, it is somewhat related, but they are targeting me and I just want to protect myself. Afterwards, Yun Miao briefly explained the relationship between himself and the Yun family. Only then did Wang Suihan believe it. After hesitating for a while, he chose to agree. As a businessman, he naturally hoped that his Suihan chain could surpass the Yun family. Now that he had the opportunity, he naturally wanted to give it a try. So, the three of them discussed the cooperation matters together, and after confirming them, Yun Miao hung up the phone with satisfaction. In the next few days, Yun Miao was busy with the cooperation with Suihan chain. She still invested in the company with technology. Although the proportion of shares this time was not as high as when she cooperated with Wang Chen, Yun Miao also put forward her own conditions. When Suihan used the recipes, he would pay an additional amount of copyright fees. The term of use was 10 years. After the expiration of the term, Yun Miao could choose whether to renew the contract. This is also Yun Miao's temporary helplessness. If possible, she would actually like to do it herself, but her strength does not allow it. Alas, it's still a bit poor. Although Yun Miao is quite busy, he never forgets to do live broadcasts every day. After the last incident, Yun Miao found that his live broadcast room really needed a few managers. Although the system could be set up to directly ban those illegal remarks in the background of the live broadcast, it was not comprehensive enough after all. There were still some opportunistic people who would find ways to avoid the system's supervision. Real person management was much more flexible. But who should be chosen as the manager? Yun Miao thought about it and felt that it would be better to choose people from the reward list. After all, they were the ones who spent money on him, and it would be a bit too much if they didn't even provide any management support. Nowadays, the number of people in Yun Miao's live broadcast room is about to exceed 100 million. It seems that the number is not small, but in fact, compared with the number of people in the entire Interstellar Federation, it is just a drizzle. However, the number of people is still growing steadily. Yun Miao believes that there will be more in the future, and with her current performance, she is among the best in the entire entertainment area. There are a lot of names on the reward list, but the most eye-catching ones are the two names with gold labels on the top. One is Li Jin, who was the first to receive over 1 million rewards, and the other is Feng Yi, who recently received over 1 million rewards. The two have the same amount of rewards, but due to time reasons, Li Jin is ranked ahead of Feng Yi. After Yun Miao tried to contact Li Jin again but failed, he turned around and sent a message to Feng Yi, inviting him to become the manager of the live broadcast room. However, Yun Miao did not receive any message from the other party for a long time after the message was sent. Yun Miao was speechless. Are all big guys so mysterious? After hesitating for a while, Yun Miao decided to reserve a seat for the Maple Leaf boss first, and then selected 2 fans and sent them invitation messages. This time it went very smoothly. The other party happily accepted Yun Miao's invitation and happily took on the title of management. After finishing these complicated matters, Yun Miao was surprised to find that several days had passed unknowingly and Mr. Feng's birthday party was about to be held. Mr. Feng's birthday party was not held in the Feng family's old house, but on a luxurious giant cruise ship of the Feng family. The cruise ship is parked at the West Seaport where Peng City is located. On the day of the birthday banquet, the invited guests can board the cruise ship by showing their invitation letters. When everyone is present, the cruise ship will depart from the West Sea, then travel around the sea and return to the West Seaport. Chapter 73 Boarding the Ship. Yun Miao followed Feng Chengyuan onto the luxurious cruise ship early in the morning and waited until 9:30 in the morning when all the invited guests had arrived. The long-awaited cruise ship then slowly left the port. Because Feng Ning in the past and Feng Chengyuan now have both brought a lot of fame to the Feng family, many people from the military also came to congratulate them because of their relationship. Mr. Feng has had a smile on his face since this morning. His face, which is already full of wrinkles, seems to look a lot kinder than usual. As the head of the family, Feng Zhen naturally had to help entertain the guests. Therefore, as soon as the banquet began, Feng Zhen kept moving among the many guests, and Feng Qing was also assisting him. Even some of the younger generations involved were busy walking around the venue like butterflies. Only Feng Chengyuan and Yun Miao arrived late, but they immediately attracted a lot of people's attention. "It's General Feng. Didn't you say you were recuperating at home? I thought you wouldn't show up this time. Isn't it normal for him to show up at the birthday party of the elders in the family? Who is the woman following him? You don't know. I heard that General Feng has registered his marriage with someone. That should be his wife, right?" Many people were talking in low voices, their eyes flicking back and forth between Feng Chengyuan and Yun Miao. Those who recognized Feng Chengyuan had meaningful looks in their eyes, while those who didn't just sighed at the beauty of the combination of the handsome man and the beautiful woman. As soon as the two arrived at the venue, Feng Anan took the initiative to step forward and greet Feng Chengyuan. "Brother Chengyuan, why did you come just now? I have been waiting for you for a while." Feng Chengyuan glanced at him and said indifferently. Feng Zhen explained, "Father asked Nan to follow you and get to know some people. It will be helpful for your future." Feng Chengyuan sneered and said nothing. Yun Miao also sneered. The calculations of these people could be heard across the sea. As they were talking, several middle-aged men in military uniforms came over. When they saw Feng Chengyuan, they greeted him politely, but there was a sense of sarcasm in their words. Yun Miao was listening to the conversation between several people and he found out the identities of these people. They were all from other corps in the military. Their positions might not be as high as Feng Chengyuan's, but it was obvious that they spoke like that because they felt that given Feng Chengyuan's situation, it was impossible for him to return to the military. Yun Miao didn't like this kind of intrigue, so he talked to Feng Chengyuan about it. After getting his permission, Yun Miao left the crowd and prepared to find an inconspicuous corner to stay by himself. The cruise ship that the Feng family used to hold the banquet this time was very large. The conference hall alone was enough to accommodate thousands of people. In addition, the cruise ship was divided into a rest area, an entertainment area, and a food area. Among them, the entertainment area was the largest and widest, and it covered 3 floors, including a variety of leisure and entertainment venues, whether it was a bar, a casino, a combat training ground, or other various entertainment projects, everything was available here. Yun Miao was more interested in the entertainment area and the food area, so after leaving Feng Chengyuan, he took the elevator directly to the entertainment area. She was wearing a blue-purple gradient mini dress today. Half of her long hair was tied up into a bun at the back of her head, decorated with a fist-sized jewel flower, and matching earrings on her ears. She looked elegant and a little playful. She was pretty, so even if she deliberately stayed in places with few people, she still attracted a lot of people's attention. Some people wanted to come up and chat with her, But after being politely rejected by Yun Miao, gradually fewer people came. Yun Miao didn't care. After arriving at the top deck, he looked at the vast sponge and immediately took out his live broadcast ball and started the live broadcast without hesitation. Hello everyone, this is the Shui Yifang live broadcast room. I am the anchor Yun Miao. Oh, the anchor lady is live again, so happy. Today's host is so pretty, and she's wearing something formal. Is she attending a party? Closing square bracket. Where are we this time? The environment seems different from before. Closing square bracket. Like at the beach. The host always surprises us. Closing square bracket. Question mark, comma, question mark. The live broadcast room was full of comments. Yun Miao explained with a smile, we are at sea. I am here with my friends to attend a banquet. Question mark. Oh, I see, male, friend. Yun Miao, speechless. Don't make blind guesses. He's not a boyfriend. I wonder what these netizens are imagining day by day. Okay, I'm going to go to the entertainment area and play for a while, you guys come with me. As Yun Miao spoke, he walked directly in one direction. Then netizens saw Yun Miao moving alone between various entertainment projects, including a holographic battlefield simulating shooting, smart chess and card games, and various ball games. He even found an entertainment audiovisual room. Looking at the equipment inside, Yun Miao hesitated for a moment and decided to stay. Today I'm going to show you what it's like to sing with professional equipment. Yun Miao said with a smile, and immediately stepped forward and began to explore. Yun Miao quickly figured out how to use it, then turned on his light computer, connected it to the equipment in the audiovisual room, and played the song he wanted to sing. In an instant, the smart devices in the audiovisual room started up, and the surrounding walls suddenly changed when the music sounded. The place that was originally a wall suddenly became transparent, and then gradually turned into a dark color like the starry sky. There were countless bright or dim stars twinkling around, making people feel as if they were in the starry sky for an instant. Yun Miao looked at the changes in front of her eyes in surprise, but what surprised her was far more than that. When the environmental simulation of the entire room changed, a musical note suddenly appeared in front of Yun Miao's eyes. The faint golden color passed in front of Yun Miao like a meteor, followed by more musical notes. Yun Miao saw that some notes stopped in midair, so she reached out to touch them curiously. As a result, her fingers clearly did not touch anything, and a clear and pleasant tone rang out. Can this still happen? Yun Miao was amazed and tried a few more times. Sure enough, more tones sounded. Yun Miao became addicted to the game and almost forgot that he was still on the live broadcast. Haha, the host is so cute, and I like the way she plays music seriously. This set of equipment is not cheap, the anchor will take us to experience it. Closing square bracket. Question mark. General Yinbai gave a spaceship as a reward. Lohe Luo rewards. Question mark, comma, question mark. The audience was also very happy to see Yun Miao's actions, and began to reward him. Yun Miao looked at everyone's comments, smiled a little embarrassedly, and said, then let's get started. Chapter 74, Su Wuyin's Invitation. The music slowly started to sound, and Yun Miao began to sing shortly after the prelude began. This time, Yun Miao chose the most popular song currently, which is also a song by Su Wuyin, one of the top superstars today. The song is called War. This is a song that inspires people to fight against strange beasts. The whole style of the song is inspirational and inspiring, which is very different from the beautiful and gentle styles that Yun Miao had chosen before. The reason why Yun Miao chose this song was, firstly, that he felt that this song was a rare song that he could find in this world that was not so annoying, and secondly, he wanted to try a different style of music. Since this song could be sung by so many people in this world, it must have its merits, and many people would probably like it when it is sung. Sure enough, the audience response was good. It turned out to be my favorite war. The anchor lady actually sang my favorite song. I have to give her a thumbs up. Su Wuyin is my husband. Thank you for the host's passionate singing. Closing square bracket. These are two completely different styles, but both make people feel like they can't just rush onto the battlefield and fight monsters for 300 rounds. Question mark, comma, question mark. After finishing the song, Yun Miao looked at everyone's reactions and found that there was no strong resistance, so the worry in her heart was put to rest. Then, Yun Miao responded to the audience's request and sang a few songs that he had sung before. After finishing the songs, she stopped singing. Okay, now that we've finished singing, let's go shopping somewhere else. Yun Miao turned off the singing equipment and the surrounding mimicry immediately returned to its original state, still the ordinary space, and even the musical notes disappeared. Yun Miao began to like this set of singing equipment and was thinking about whether he should get one and put it in his room after he returned home. I just don't know how much it would cost. Is my net worth enough to buy one? Just as he was thinking this, Yun Miao turned around and opened the door, and saw a person standing at the door. He was very surprised to see Yun Miao come out. I just heard someone singing, so I came over to take a look. I didn't expect to meet such a beautiful woman. The man who came was a very handsome and sunny young man, wearing a well-cut silver-gray casual suit and short black hair combed back. However, he was not a man who followed the rules. Instead, a few strands of hair fell on the sides of his ears, making him look a little more unruly. Are you also my fan, my beauty? I think your singing of my song sounds pretty good. Are you interested in working with me and joining the recording of my next single? Come to think of it, you wouldn't have the heart to reject a handsome guy like me, right? The other party confidently lifted up the few strands of hair hanging from his forehead and turned them up, as if he was certain that Yun Miao would agree. Only, who are you? Yun Miao looked at the person in front of him with confusion. She didn't check the messages on the live broadcast interface at this moment, so naturally she didn't know that the live broadcast room had exploded at this moment. Ah, my husband suddenly appeared. Closing square bracket. Su Wuyan actually attended the banquet as well. As we all know, Su Wuyan's second identity is the Third Legion builder. I'm a little suspicious as to how the anchor could appear at a banquet of this scale. My favorite male god and female god are together. Oh my god, this life is worth it. Closing square bracket. What's wrong with the anchor? He just sang someone else's song, and then he turned around and said he didn't know her. Why is he pretending? Closing square bracket. Question mark, comma, question mark. The audience was so excited that they were howling as if they had all turned into wolves, but the main character's attention was not on them at all at the moment. As the conversation between Yun Miao and Su Wuyan continued, many sour remarks appeared in the live broadcast room. Just when the room was in chaos, a message with flashing special effects appeared along with a reward. Question mark. That's all. The usually taciturn Maple Leaf boss suddenly showed up, causing the entire live broadcast room to fall silent for a moment, but a new round of noise followed, with all the negative comments originally directed at Yun Miao being directed towards the suddenly appearing Maple Leaf. Boss, your words are a bit like picking faults. Closing square bracket. That's right, my Yan Yan didn't provoke you, why do you say that about him? Closing square bracket. The Maple Leaf boss didn't mention any names, but you insisted on identifying yourself with them. Isn't this asking for trouble? Closing square bracket. What do you mean by that? Leave your address if you dare. I will crawl over there along the optical network and beat you to death. Question mark, comma, question mark. There was a quarrel in the live broadcast room, but it was soon silenced by several messages banning everyone from speaking. The administrators that Yun Miao had set up before finally showed their great effect at this moment. Some people who were obviously stirring up trouble were directly cleaned up by the administrators who had been arranged before, and those bad remarks were also blocked. For a while, the live broadcast room became much quieter and more harmonious. Yun Miao didn't notice that the young man in front of her was blocking her way. Seeing that the other party didn't want to give way, Yun Miao couldn't help but frown. Sir, I don't think we know each other. Isn't it rude of you to stop me like this? Yun Miao looked at Su Wuyan seriously, and her reaction indeed stunned Su Wuyan. It was obvious that Yun Miao was not lying. She really doesn't know herself. Really? Su Wuyan lifted her hair with one hand, smiled helplessly, and explained, my name is Su Wuyan, and the song you sang before, War, is my song. Yun Miao's peach blossom eyes almost turned into cat eyes when he heard this. He looked at the person in front of him in surprise and murmured, you are the superstar Su Wuyan. Yun Miao had looked up the original singer of this song when he was learning it, so he naturally knew Su Wuyan's identity. However, Yun Miao did not pay much attention to the other person's appearance, which led to his failure to recognize the real person. Sorry. Yun Miao smiled awkwardly, but Su Wuyan didn't care. Instead, he asked the same question again, hoping to invite Yun Miao to be the duet singer of his new song. He came here because he heard Yun Miao's singing. Seeing that the door of the room was not closed tightly, he listened to Yun Miao singing all the songs at the door. He felt that there was a special power hidden in Yun Miao's songs that would attract people unconsciously. The more he listened, the more he felt that he had found the voice he wanted, so he made such a request. Yun Miao was stunned for a moment, then reacted and shook his head a little embarrassedly. Sorry, thank you for your kindness, Mr. Su. I have no intention of stepping into the entertainment industry. Mr. Su, please ask for help. Su Wuyan never thought that there would be a day when he would be rejected, and his smile immediately became forced. However, he was a superstar after all, so he naturally had some skills to cultivate his chi. He did not press further, but took out a black business card with gold foil and handed it to Yun Miao, then winked at her and smiled gently. Don't be in a hurry to reject me. Contact me when you have thought it through. After saying that, he turned around and left without giving Yun Miao a chance to refuse. Yun Miao. Chapter 75. There is such a coincidence. Yun Miao was confused until Su Wuyan left. Looking back at the live broadcast interface, he saw that the argument had already ended. He smiled awkwardly and explained, I don't know how we met by chance. I didn't know this Mr. Su very well before, so I didn't recognize him immediately. As for the invitation Mr. Su mentioned, I think the other party might just be acting on a whim. Let's just keep going. Yun Miao smiled sweetly and put the previous episode behind her. Although there were still some people who did not buy into the live broadcast room, with the presence of an administrator, some bad comments were quickly cleared, and it became a lot quieter. At the same time, in the conference room, Feng Chengyuan turned off his computer as if nothing had happened. Facing the greetings and inquiries from people around him, Feng Chengyuan handled them very appropriately. Feng Anan had been following behind Feng Chengyuan, greeting everyone who came up to him with a smile. He looked well behaved, as if he had been recognized as Feng Chengyuan's successor. General Feng, you found a successor so quickly. That's right, you'd better rest for a while, maybe you can still have a chance to recover. The person who spoke was a deputy general of the 3rd Legion. He had a square face that made people wonder if it had been hit with a brick to get that curve. Since the other party came with bad intentions, Feng Chengyuan naturally wouldn't be polite. Adjutant Yao, do you still have the time to attend the banquet? I heard that an unidentified star beast appeared in the K-75 star field recently. That is the place closest to the defense line of the 3rd Legion. I wonder how you will deal with it. The square-faced man called Adjutant Yao froze in expression and said in a deep voice, General Feng, you must be joking. How could such a thing happen? This news was kept secret and not revealed. How did Feng Chengyuan know it so quickly? Feng Chengyuan's eyes flashed, and he glanced meaningfully at the Feng family members not far away, then pretended to be indifferent and said, really? Since Adjutant Yao said so, then there is no such thing. Adjutant Yao's expression was already somewhat ugly. Feng Chengyuan's words sounded so insincere. How did he know this? Did the Feng family reveal it? But how could the Feng family know such a thing? And didn't the Feng family have a bad relationship with Feng Chengyuan? How could they tell him such an important thing? Did they want to join forces with Feng Chengyuan to deal with the 3rd Legion? The more Adjutant Yao thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong, and his suspicion of the Feng family grew stronger. It seems that I have to report this matter to my superiors when I return. Feng Chengyuan didn't care about the consequences of his speculations. Don't think he didn't know what the Feng family was planning behind the scenes. Hey, Why is it so lively? As they were talking, an inopportune voice interrupted, attracting several people to look over. Then a tall and long-legged man came over with big strides. When he reached Feng Chengyuan, he raised his hand and pushed the gold-rimmed glasses on his face. The reflection of the lenses directly obscured the teasing look in his eyes. "I'm sorry I'm late. If you don't mind, could you let me catch up with General Feng?" After saying that, without waiting for everyone's reaction, he pushed Feng Chengyuan's wheelchair towards a place with fewer people. "Brother Zhang, you..." Feng and Nan didn't expect that Zhang Zhou, who had just appeared, would push Feng Chengyuan away without saying a word. He wanted to chase him, but there were many important people around him, so he naturally couldn't give up this good opportunity and leave. So after hesitating for a while, he finally chose to stay. After pushing Feng Chengyuan away, Zhang Zhou quickly found a corner and stopped. "What are you doing?" Feng Chengyuan was really helpless and speechless about Zhang Zhou's behavior. This guy always acted recklessly regardless of the occasion. It was a miracle that he had not been beaten to death for so long. Zhang Zhou glanced around and saw that no one was following him, so he smiled with satisfaction. When he turned around to face Feng Chengyuan, his attitude immediately changed 180 degrees. "I thought you would stay away from people. How about that? You look pretty good. Would you like me to take a look at you while I'm free?" Zhang Zhou stared at Feng Chengyuan with shining eyes, looking eager to try. Feng Chengyuan: "No, I'm busy." "Tisk, who would believe that? Never mind. I know you don't want me to do the research because you don't want me to take risks. You are a very considerate friend." Zhang Zhou patted Feng Chengyuan's shoulder very boldly. Even though Feng Chengyuan stared at him with a deathly gaze, he did not show any sign of retreating. "Don't look at me like that. I really have something important to tell you this time," Zhang Zhou said, as if he was afraid that others might hear him. He leaned forward slightly and whispered in Feng Chengyuan's ear, "I have found a way to calm down the violent mental power on my own." As soon as these words were spoken, Zhang Zhou instantly revealed a smug smile, and looked expectantly at Feng Chengyuan's expression, which changed drastically. However, Feng Chengyuan just frowned tightly, with a thoughtful look in his eyes. Because at this moment, Yun Miao's figure suddenly appeared in Feng Chengyuan's mind. He thought of her abilities and had a vague guess. "What's your reaction? Why don't you seem surprised?" Zhang Zhou complained somewhat dejectedly. Feng Chengyuan raised his eyes and glanced at him, then asked calmly, "How did you find out?" Zhang Zhou did not hide anything and directly told everyone about the young man who had been taken back for treatment research. He also mysteriously informed Feng Chengyuan of the results of his research. "I later secretly investigated what happened that day and found some interesting things." Zhang Zhou told Feng Chengyuan everything he knew. After he finished speaking, he looked at Feng Chengyuan with full expectation, and the light in his eyes was almost turning into reality. "If you can investigate this matter thoroughly, you might be able to find the truth." Zhang Zhou bewitched. However, Feng Chengyuan seemed indifferent, leaving Zhang Zhou speechless. "Forget it, you're always like this. By the way, I seem to have seen your little wife the other day. Why didn't I see her today? You didn't just leave her there, did you?" Zhang Zhou said it casually, but suddenly he became interested. However, he looked around and didn't notice that when he said what he just said, the expression on Feng Chengyuan's face suddenly changed slightly. "Did you see Yun Miao? Could there be such a coincidence? Could Yun Miao be related to that incident?" Feng Chengyuan had many guesses in his mind, but he couldn't get the answers for a while. However, just when Feng Chengyuan was about to ask someone to call Yun Miao over, he suddenly felt the wheelchair vibrate, or rather, the hull suddenly vibrated inexplicably. What happened? Zhang Zhou also sensed something unusual, and the playful expression on his face instantly disappeared, and he looked extremely serious. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 76 Monster. It is obviously not a simple matter for a huge cruise ship to have such obvious vibrations. Although many people were still immersed in the lively banquet and did not notice the abnormality at the first time, some people still felt it to some extent. What happened? Did it vibrate just now? You must be feeling wrong. How could something shake a cruise ship? Quote. Some people whispered to each other, some raised their doubts, while others just thought that those people just perceived it wrongly. However, within just 1 minute, more people felt the vibration of the ship. Now no one doubted that they had sensed it wrongly. Instead, they all showed nervous and slightly panicked expressions. What's going on? Did the cruise ship hit something? Some people suspected that the ship had run aground, but if that were the case, an alarm would have been sounded immediately. However, there was nothing now, which was what puzzled everyone. Feng Zhen stepped forward to appease everyone, and Feng Qing immediately sent someone to find out the details. Old Master Feng was surrounded by several juniors, and his expression looked very ugly. Feng Chengyuan had a bad feeling and felt that things were not simple. He immediately turned on his computer and contacted Butler Wu, asking him to investigate the situation and bring Yun Miao back. However, as soon as he got through to Butler Wu, the vibration of the ship intensified and lasted longer than before. There were cries of surprise from the crowd, and at the same time, the alarm that the ship was under attack sounded in an instant. The originally orderly banquet hall suddenly became chaotic. Go, I'll take you to a safe place. Zhang Zhou looked panicked as he pushed Feng Chengyuan's wheelchair and prepared to leave the chaotic banquet hall. If he stayed in such a crowded place at this time, who knows what accidents might happen. But Zhang Zhou was still a step too slow. Just as he was about to push Feng Chengyuan away, the huge crystal chandelier on the ceiling suddenly fell down and shattered into pieces with a loud bang. The flying crystal fragments cut many people, and everyone did not have time to complain or exclaim before they were shocked by the next scene. Several legs with barbs poked out from the hole where the crystal chandelier fell. With a squeak, the sickle-like toes easily tore a big hole in the ceiling. Then a 2-meter-tall, ugly-looking creature of the opposite sex appeared in front of everyone. Zerg, why is there such a thing on the ship? Help me, quote. The moment the alien creature appeared, the screams and exclamations at the scene instantly rose several degrees, and the scene became even more chaotic. The moment Feng Chengyuan saw the Zerg, his expression turned cold. He pressed the brakes of his wheelchair to prevent Zhang Zhou from pushing him away. This action instantly made Zhang Zhou anxious and angry. Feng Chengyuan, are you crazy? Do you still want to go up and kill the insects in your current state? The insects will almost kill you. Come with me now. Zhang Zhou knew what Feng Chengyuan was thinking as soon as he saw his reaction, and he immediately scolded him. Feng Chengyuan didn't say anything. Looking at the bugs that kept falling from the ceiling, he instinctively wanted to use his mental power. However, before he acted, some of the people closest to the center of the banquet hall and closest to the Zerg that suddenly appeared, after a brief panic, quickly reacted and began to fight back against the bugs. The Zerg is a very scary race, and their danger level is no less than those star beasts. However, what is scary about this race is not how horrible their appearance is, but their terrifying reproductive ability and destructive power. Zerg actions are usually large-scale. How come there are only a few of them? Feng Chengyuan felt that something was wrong, but he had no time to investigate the matter. Facing the attack of those insects, Feng Chengyuan naturally could not retreat. He directly operated on the wheelchair, but in an instant the wheelchair under him changed. Several mechanical arms stretched out from the wheelchair, securing Feng Chengyuan's body while allowing him to change directly from a sitting position to a standing position. Zhang Zhou on the side was stunned, but then he shouted to stop it. You are crazy. You dare to use mental power in your current situation. Do you want to live? However, Feng Chengyuan ignored Zhang Zhou's words and instead controlled the exoskeleton device on his body and rushed towards the insects. At the same time, Yun Miao was originally on the top deck broadcasting the sea scenery live and chatting with netizens in the live broadcast room, but the sudden violent vibration of the ship's hull almost made her fall to the ground. What's going on? Did something happen? Closing square bracket. Question mark. Anchor, be careful. Oh my god, what did I see? It's the Zerg. Question mark, comma, question mark. Along with the shrill alarm sounds, In addition to the insects that rushed into the banquet hall, some also appeared in various places on the cruise ship. Yun Miao's live broadcast camera recorded those zergs that appeared without any warning. The live broadcast room was in chaos, and the same was true outside the room. Yun Miao stared at the monsters that appeared with her eyes wide open. Looking at their forelimbs that were as sharp as sickles and their four-petal mouthparts full of fangs, Yun Miao felt a chill running from the soles of her feet to the top of her head, making her whole scalp feel tingling. How could there be such a horrible monster? Run away. Hurry up, host. You will die if you don't escape. Call the police. I have already called the police. Why did Zerg suddenly appear on the capital planet? When did the capital planet's defense become so weak? Is there any other place? People were in a panic for a while, and the relevant entries appeared accurately on the headlines of Xingbo at the first time. Zerg appears on the capital planet. Live broadcast room, Zerg. Zerg invasion, Everyone on the Star Network received the relevant push notifications at the first moment and were horrified. At the same time, all major police stations on the capital star also received various alarm communications. When the police learned that the Zerg had appeared in the capital planet, they immediately took action. However, because they did not know where the Zerg had appeared, they were unable to carry out the rescue operation smoothly for a while. When Yun Miao saw the Zerg, she felt a buzzing in her head, as if something was about to explode, but she reacted in an instant and began to flee with the others towards the place farthest away from the Zerg. Some people wanted to find a hovercraft to escape, but the insects attacked too fast, and some people who failed to escape in time died under the attack of the insects. Yun Miao had never been as scared as she was at this moment. Looking at the scene of the insects killing people wantonly, Yun Miao felt her heartbeat getting faster and faster. It seemed that she could only hear her own breathing in her ears. Other sounds seemed to be wrapped in a layer of membrane, making it difficult for her to hear clearly. Just as she ran to the edge and was about to jump into the water under the boat, an explosion shook the boat and caused her to fall directly onto the deck. Chapter 77 Crisis. The sound of the explosion instantly attracted Yun Miao's attention. As she looked over, several figures flew out from the holes blown open on the deck. Accompanied by dull sounds, several Zerg corpses were smashed heavily onto the deck. Immediately afterwards, a familiar figure jumped out from the huge hole that exploded. It's Feng Chengyuan. Yun Miao was shocked to see Feng Chengyuan moving as fast as a normal person, even faster than most people, with the support of a mechanical exoskeleton. Even when attacking those terrifying Zergs, he did not show any hesitation. During Feng Chengyuan's attack, the Zergs seemed to be affected by the taunt skill. They all locked their hatred on him and attacked him violently. After Feng Chengyuan appeared, several more people jumped out of the hole, and then immediately opened the mecha space button, summoning a light mecha that was 3 meters high. These people with mechas were all from the military. Their appearance made the chaotic scene seem to have a backbone, and it also gave peace of mind to many anxious people. But no one knew where the Zerg came from, and there seemed to be more and more of them. Even with Feng Chengyuan and the others dealing with them, it was becoming increasingly difficult. Feng Chengyuan dodged the attacking Zerg with a jump, but he staggered when he landed. After all, the exoskeleton on his body cannot be compared with a mecha. However, the mental power he can use now is only enough for him to control the exoskeleton. He cannot even use his own mecha. Otherwise, it is very likely that he will die from a mental riot before the Zerg is dealt with. Even though Feng Chengyuan tried his best to control the use of his mental power, it was still a considerable burden. Admiral Butler Wu, who was also fighting the Zerg, felt nervous when he saw Feng Chengyuan staggering. He wanted to go forward to help, but was blocked by other Zerg. The other mecha warriors were also fighting hard and had no time to care about Feng Chengyuan's life or death. In just that brief moment of mistake, those horrible bugs seemed to have finally discovered a flaw and swarmed towards Feng Chengyuan. Careful, Yun Miao had never thought that he would see such a thrilling scene. Seeing Feng Chengyuan falling into danger, Yun Miao suddenly exclaimed, and his heart couldn't help but beat wildly. For a moment, Yun Miao felt as if something flashed quickly in her mind, and then before she could react, she had already made the most instinctive reaction. Yun Miao opened his mouth and let out a long, high-pitched moan, and a high-frequency sound wave began to spread from Yun Miao to the surroundings. At the same time, waves on the water surface were surging, and a column of water suddenly shot up into the sky. After circling in the sky like a water dragon, it rushed directly towards the Zerg on the boat. However, in an instant, the water column had arrived in front of Feng Chengyuan, and then, while Feng Chengyuan was shocked, it bypassed his body and pierced directly into the body of the Zerg closest to him. PFF'd. It was clearly water, but when it came into contact with the bodies of the insects, it instantly turned into a sharp sword and directly penetrated the body of the insect. Such a strange scene instantly attracted the attention of many people. Feng Chengyuan also showed an incredible look. Obviously he did not expect why such a scene would appear. What happened? What is that? Oh my god, is this a miracle? Quote. Just when people were in shock, Feng Chengyuan came back to his senses the first time and noticed the high-pitched and long moan made by Yun Miao the first time. Is her? Feng Chengyuan looked at Yun Miao in disbelief. Many thoughts flashed through his mind in an instant. However, he had no time to think about anything at this moment. He could only take advantage of the water column blocking the insects and move his body quickly to keep as much distance as possible from the danger. However, Feng Chengyuan was already exhausted from using his mental power for such a long time that his movements became slow, and he looked quite dangerous when dodging. Yun Miao's eyes were always on Feng Chengyuan. Seeing that he was surrounded by dangers, he became more and more nervous. He reacted instinctively without having time to consider anything else. While chanting, Yun Miao tried hard to use her mental power to control the water column to attack the insects. She did not realize that everything she did at this moment was completely recorded by the live broadcast ball that did not have time to be turned off, and was directly exposed to all the viewers in the live broadcast room. Question mark. What did I see? Question mark. What's with the water column? Why is the host singing? I just saw it. As soon as she started singing, the water column appeared. Closing square bracket. Could it be that the water column was summoned by the anchor? Impossible. What kind of magical world is this? Question mark, question mark. Because of the news about the appearance of the Zerg on the internet, many people flocked into Yun Miao's live broadcast room, and thus saw the scene where Yun Miao suddenly let out a long roar. At first, some people didn't understand why Yun Miao did that. Some even mocked her for being scared crazy, so she screamed randomly and made people laugh. However, when the long moan that sounded like a dolphin's sound came out of her mouth, followed by a column of water rushing into the sky, everyone was so shocked that their eyes popped out of their frames. However, the scene that surprised everyone even more was yet to come. Because when Yun Miao started the live broadcast, in order to allow the audience to better see the scenery of the sea, there was no option to adjust the background blur. Therefore, when Yun Miao ignored the live broadcast ball still broadcast everything around it and also recorded other people. As a result, all the people gathered in Yun Miao's live broadcast room saw the fierce battle on the scene very clearly, and some of the military personnel who were fighting the Zerg were also recognized by some netizens. Even Feng Chengyuan's existence attracted a lot of speculation. That guy wearing an exoskeleton looks so familiar. Have I seen him somewhere before? Closing square bracket. Really? Especially the back view, which looks like one person. He is originally a human being, otherwise could he be a Zerg in human skin? Closing square bracket. Can you please stop being so clever at times like this? I think I feel the same way as you did before. Closing square bracket. Isn't it just me who thinks his silhouette resembles General Feng? Closing square bracket. Zhu Min. It would be fine if you didn't say anything. The more you talk, the more they look like each other. It would be great if someone had a photo of General Feng. Unfortunately, I can't find a single one on the internet. Question mark, question mark. The emotions of netizens in the live broadcast room were up and down. At this moment, They didn't know whether to be shocked, surprised, or something else. Just as everyone was speculating, a thrilling scene suddenly appeared on the live broadcast screen. The Zerg that was originally attacked by the water column was seen to be dispersed into several groups. After observing left and right with their compound eyes, they quickly locked onto the target, and then rushed towards Yun Miao with an extremely strange pace. Chapter 78 He is beyond help. Anchor, run away. Closing square bracket. Ah, a bug is coming. Closing square bracket. It's over, it's over. Question mark, comma, question mark. The audience in the live broadcast room had already exclaimed, but Yun Miao had no intention of paying attention to her own live broadcast room at the moment. She was concentrating on controlling the water column with her mental power. However, her mental strength was not very high, so after controlling it for a while, she could no longer hold on. At the same time, Yun Miao finally discovered the insects rushing towards him. He was horrified and instinctively wanted to continue using his mental power to control the water column to protect himself, but he found that he was becoming powerless at this moment. The water column that was originally controlled suddenly shattered as if it had lost its power, and turned into a pool of liquid that scattered on the deck. Yun Miao also staggered due to excessive use of mental power. The hideous and disgusting appearance of those insects were reflected in her pupils. They were getting closer and closer to her, especially their horrible mouthparts that had opened like petals, pulling out disgusting mucus, revealing the sharp teeth inside. Yun Miao had no doubt that if she was bitten by those insects, she would probably die instantly. When danger is imminent, the strong feeling of fear will make people lose the ability to control themselves in a short period of time, and they may even be unable to move their bodies to avoid danger. Although Yun Miao was not stunned on the spot, he was still dragged down by the depletion of his mental energy and had no way of dodging in the first place. Dying. There seemed to be a buzzing sound in Yun Miao's head, and the feeling of facing death made her heart palpitate uncontrollably. However, just when she thought she could not escape, a figure suddenly rushed up and used his own strength to knock away the insect that was rushing towards Yun Miao. What are you standing there for? Run away. Feng Chengyuan endured the pain in his body, fought with the insects, and raised his head and shouted angrily at Yun Miao. He felt that he could not hold on for much longer. At this moment, he felt a throbbing pain in his head. The mental power that he had been trying to control became difficult to control. In his heart, there was a growing desire to destroy everything. He knew that this was a sequelae of overusing his mental power. If he didn't stop using his mental power immediately and get treatment right away, he was afraid that the result would be another mental riot. But how could he stop now? How could he stop now when these bugs haven't been dealt with yet? Since the result is already foreseeable and he is powerless to change it, then, he might as well give it a try. Feng Chengyuan made up his mind and stopped carefully controlling the use of his mental power. Instead, he released the control and began to use his mental power to attack the surrounding insects. Only the real enemy knows how terrifying the double S-level mental power is. After Feng Chengyuan let go completely, he started killing people in all directions in an instant. Those ferocious and hideous insects were no match for him. However, in a flash, he used his mental power to destroy the neurons of the surrounding insects, making them unable to move anymore. After Feng Chengyuan rescued her, Yun Miao followed his instructions and hid in a relatively safe area, but her eyes involuntarily fell on Feng Chengyuan. Hey, it's dangerous here, follow me. At this moment, a voice came from the side. Yun Miao turned around and saw that the man named Su Wuyan, who had spoken to him not long ago, was reaching out his hand towards him. The other party was also covered in the dirty blood of the insects. He looked a little embarrassed, but it added a bit of blood to him. He looked at Yun Miao nervously, and when he saw that she didn't move, he walked up to her, took Yun Miao's hand, and was about to take her away. Wait a minute, don't pull me, the admiral is still over there. Don't worry about him, he's already beyond help. Su Wuyan glanced in the direction of Feng Chengyuan, his expression changed slightly, and then he said something very coldly. Yun Miao was stunned, as if he didn't understand what these words meant. He was pulled by Su Wuyan for 2 steps, and then he immediately stopped and stared at Su Wuyan in disbelief. What do you mean? What do you mean there's no hope? If I remember correctly, you should also be from the military, right? What do you mean by saying that he is hopeless instead of helping him? Yun Miao was angry, and always felt that these words sounded unlucky. Su Wuyan sneered upon hearing this and said bluntly, I know who you are. If you don't want to die, listen to my advice. It's best to stay away from him now. What he is doing now is courting death. After dealing with those zergs, he will be dead without being able to control his mental riot. What? Yun Miao's face was full of disbelief. He turned around and looked at Feng Chengyuan. As expected, he saw the pain on his face that was hard to hide. The zerg on the deck had been almost completely dealt with, and the zerg in other places had also been dealt with by those light mechas. The battle seemed to be over in a very short time, but the confused hearts of the people had not been appeased and were still noisy. Feng Chengyuan killed the last insect beside him, and when he stood up, he almost couldn't stand still. He lowered his head so no one could see his eyes, which were almost red. His body was shaking uncontrollably, and he felt like he was about to have a spasm. The pain enveloped my whole body, and I couldn't hold on any longer. My Lord Admiral, Butler Wu rushed over, covered in blood and looking no better than Feng Chengyuan. It was obvious that he had also just experienced a thrilling battle. Following behind him was Zhang Zhou, whose face was full of worry. Especially after seeing Feng Chengyuan's situation, his expression changed immediately. Feng Chengyuan, are you crazy or do you want to die? How dare you use your mental power so casually? Zhang Zhou ran towards Feng Chengyuan as he spoke, but before he got a few steps closer, he was pushed by an invisible force and staggered back several steps. Do not come. Feng Chengyuan panted and threatened in an extremely hoarse voice, his fists clenched so tightly that his nails almost dug into the flesh of his palms. He didn't care at all, because this was the only way to keep himself awake. Let me pass, let me treat you. Don't come over here, it's dangerous. He knew his own situation, so how could he let Zhang Zhou take risks? When Yun Miao saw this scene, for some reason she suddenly had a bad premonition in her heart, as if something was about to happen, which made her uneasy. Let me go. Yun Miao broke free from Su Wuyan's hand, turned around and was about to head towards Feng Chengyuan, but in the next second she saw a scene that shocked her, or everyone else. Feng Chengyuan raised his head in agony and let out a heart-wrenching wail. An invisible mental shock spread from his body, making everyone present feel as if their brains were pricked by needles. Yun Miao also groaned in discomfort, but perhaps it was because of her mermaid blood. She only felt a little uncomfortable for a moment before returning to normal, unlike the others who could only squat on the ground with their hands covering their heads in discomfort. All of Feng Chengyuan's consciousness was about to dissipate at this moment, and the remaining consciousness told him that time was running out. So he made his decision at the last minute. Using the last bit of his consciousness, Feng Chengyuan struggled to control the robotic arm with his already chaotic mental strength, lifted his body close to the edge of the boat, then turned over without any hesitation and fell into the water from the boat dozens of meters away. Chapter 79. The host is a mermaid. My Lord Admiral. Chengyuan. When Butler Wu and Zhang Zhou saw Feng Chengyuan's actions, they were furious and rushed forward to pull him back, but it was too late. Yun Miao also did not expect that Feng Chengyuan would actually jump into the sea by himself. He subconsciously rushed to the edge of the boat and looked towards the water. However, where could he see Feng Chengyuan at this moment? Zhang Zhou wanted to jump in to save people, but was stopped by Butler Wu. Are you going to betray him too? Let me go. It might still be in time to save him now. Zhang Zhou roared. Butler Wu's eyes were filled with grief, and his heart felt as if it was being cut by a knife, but he still did not let go of Zhang Zhou's hand. Master Zhang Zhou, the reason why the Admiral did this, actually means that he himself can't control himself. Butler Wu has always been by Feng Chengyuan's side taking care of him, so he knows Feng Chengyuan's thoughts very well. Feng Chengyuan once told him that if that day really comes, he just needs to take precautions and try to minimize the harm he causes. Now he chose to jump into the sea, obviously to minimize the harm caused by the mental turmoil. How is it possible? I am here, I can definitely save him. Zhang Zhou didn't believe what Butler Wu said and kept struggling, but with his fighting strength he couldn't break free from Butler Wu's grip. Just as the two were pulling each other, they saw a figure suddenly rushing out from their side out of the corner of their eye. With a scream, the figure also leapt up and jumped directly off the boat. Hey, Su Wuyan never thought that Yun Miao would suddenly do such a thing. When he wanted to reach out to stop her, it was too late. He could only watch Yun Miao jump off the boat and die for Feng Chengyuan. That's right, in Su Wuyan's opinion, Yun Miao's action was undoubtedly suicide for love. What a shame. This is the first time I'm so interested in someone. Su Wuyan put his hands on the railing, with an unpredictable expression on his face. He looked at the sea for a moment, then turned around and left without looking back, leaving Butler Wu and Zhang Zhou looking at each other in bewilderment. The moment Yun Miao jumped off the boat, she didn't even think about whether it was worth it. The only thing she could think of was that she couldn't let Feng Chengyuan die like this. Yun Miao didn't see that when she jumped off the boat, there was a live broadcast ball quietly following behind her, which also broadcast all her actions to the audience. Anchor, don't jump. In the live broadcast room, the moment the audience saw Yun Miao jump down, they all kept commenting on her, asking her not to jump. However, no one could stop Yun Miao's decision, and no one could save the host's life. It's over, it's over. Why can't the anchor get over it? Someone just jumped down. Is the anchor trying to save him? Are you a saint? You are willing to save people even if it means sacrificing your own life. Question mark. The comments flashed by quickly. Some people were feeling sorry for Yun Miao, while others were mocking Yun Miao for overestimating his own abilities. However, as the live broadcast ball followed Yun Miao into the water, when everyone thought that Yun Miao would be knocked unconscious the moment he jumped from such a high place, the scene before them shocked everyone again. Yun Miao jumped off the tall boat, and like a diving athlete, he dived straight into the water without even a splash, and just sank into the sea. And just as she entered the water, a strange scene happened. Yun Miao's body suddenly seemed to be emitting a faint white light, and then I saw that under the hem of Yun Miao's skirt, her white and slender legs were shrouded in the soft halo, and slowly turned into a silver-blue fishtail. What is that? Am I dazzled? Someone please wake me up. I was dreaming in broad daylight. I dreamed that the anchor's legs turned into a fishtail. You guys in the front are not mistaken. I saw it too, it really is a fishtail. What a big, beautiful fishtail. How could this be? So the anchor is not a human. The anchor is a mermaid. Are you crazy? Mermaids have disappeared for so many years. How is it possible that there are still mermaids? Netizens in the live broadcast room went wild after seeing Yun Miao's changes. Yun Miao's identity as a mermaid even attracted more attention than the previous topic of the Zerg. Just as netizens said, mermaids have disappeared in the interstellar space for hundreds of years and have almost become a legendary existence. However, now they suddenly appear in front of everyone. How can people not be excited? But in a blink of an eye, the entry on Xingbo rushed to the headlines of the star list at the speed of light. Mermaids who disappeared for hundreds of years suddenly reappeared. On the water side, mermaid. Click me to get the beautiful mermaid pictures. On the star rankings, several entries became hot searches, and internet celebrities were quickly attracted by the title of mermaid. However, at first not many people believed that mermaids still existed in the world. However, when they clicked on the entry, they were shocked. It's really a mermaid. The mermaid that disappeared for hundreds of years really appeared. What a beautiful mermaid. Everyone turned into screaming chickens, holding their own light computers and stamping their feet excitedly, and even running around to tell others, wishing they could tell everyone about this great news. Yun Miao had never thought that her identity as a mermaid would be exposed to everyone so suddenly. After entering the water, she instinctively transformed into a mermaid. In an instant, her vision became much wider. She looked around and did not see Feng Chengyuan, so she opened her mouth and emitted invisible sound waves that spread in the water, and soon got the result she wanted. Her eyes looked in one direction, and then her silver-blue fish tail swung, and her whole body shot out in the water like an arrow, chasing towards the deeper seabed. Yun Miao's speed was too fast. Although the live broadcast ball was not afraid of being soaked in water, its speed in water was not as fast as in the air. It was impossible to catch up with Yun Miao, so Yun Miao's trace was soon lost in the live broadcast camera. This scene directly made the audience in the live broadcast room anxious. Anchor, wait a minute, I can't see you. Closing square bracket. What a rubbish live broadcast, it can't even catch up with the host's speed. Closing square bracket. Zoom in, I want to watch the anchor, I want to watch the mermaid. Question mark, comma, question mark. However, no matter how the audience in the live broadcast room called out, Yun Miao did not respond. She had only one thought at the moment, which was to find Feng Chengyuan as soon as possible and then bring him out of the water. She could live in the water for a long time, but Feng Chengyuan would end up drowning. Chapter 80 The Voice of Mermaid. After Feng Chengyuan jumped into the sea, the mechanical arm on his body turned back into a wheelchair because it lacked the control of his mental power. After separating from Feng Chengyuan, they each sank to the deeper seabed. As expected, the riot of mental power began, surging so violently that it seemed to tear Feng Chengyuan's entire spiritual sea apart, leaving him no chance to even faint from the pain. The pain was like being stabbed by needles and cut by knives, and Feng Chengyuan could not help but twist and struggle in the water. He wanted to roar, but when he opened his mouth, the fishy and salty seawater kept pouring into his mouth, suffocating him. An invisible spiritual wave emanated from him, so violent that it seemed to destroy everything including himself. When the surrounding marine creatures sensed the fluctuations, they instinctively fled to the farther sea. Soon, there was no living fish to be found within dozens of meters around Feng Chengyuan. For 1 minute, the torture of the mental turmoil made Feng Chengyuan feel like every second was a year. 2 minutes later, blood began to flow out of his 7 orifices and then dispersed into the sea. His remaining sanity gradually disappeared, and the feeling of suffocation made him unable to struggle anymore. 3 minutes. Life is about to come to an end. Suddenly, a hand as white as jade reached out and tightly grasped Feng Chengyuan's hand, causing him to stop sinking. Yun Miao didn't feel very good at the moment, because the mental fluctuations of Feng Chengyuan were too strong and very violent. If she wasn't in the form of a mermaid at the moment, it was like having a natural protective barrier in the water. She might not even be able to get close to Feng Chengyuan at this moment. She glanced at Feng Chengyuan and found that his condition was very bad. She felt nervous and knew that she had to bring him ashore as soon as possible to calm his turbulent mental power, otherwise Feng Chengyuan would die here today. Thinking of this, Yun Miao didn't care about being hurt by Feng Chengyuan's violent mental power, and pulled Feng Chengyuan to swim quickly towards the surface of the water. However, Feng Chengyuan's current condition was not suitable to appear in the crowd, so Yun Miao did not directly bring Feng Chengyuan back to the direction of the cruise ship, but chose a small island closest to here according to what he detected with his mental power, and swam towards that direction with Feng Chengyuan. Yun Miao was very fast in the water, even when he was carrying someone. Wow! The seawater splashes on the beach of the small island and hits the rocks on the beach, splashing crystal waves. Seagulls circle in the air, crying and occasionally landing on the rocks of the island to rest. It looks peaceful and harmonious. Yun Miao dragged Feng Chengyuan to the island reef, and then tried hard to push him to lie down on a reef. After doing all this, Yun Miao felt that he was almost out of breath. "You are too heavy." Yun Miao looked at the unconscious Feng Chengyuan and couldn't help but mutter a complaint. However, Yun Miao did not have time to rest, as he saw Feng Chengyuan, who was originally unconscious, suddenly choked and coughed, and spit out a mouthful of bloody seawater. The blood stains in his ears and nose that had been wiped away by the seawater now appeared again. Wave after wave of violent mental fluctuations emanated, and even though Yun Miao was prepared, he was still shocked and looked a little ugly. Admiral, Admiral, are you still conscious? Yun Miao reached out and patted Feng Chengyuan's cheek, trying to wake the unconscious Feng Chengyuan, but failed. Seeing his painful appearance, Yun Miao couldn't bear it, but he also knew that delaying like this was not a solution, so Yun Miao didn't think twice, supported himself on the reef with both hands, and then swung his tail hard in the water. He easily climbed onto the reef, and then turned over and sat on the edge. Admiral Feng, I don't know if you are still conscious, and I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I still want to tell you in advance. For the sake of my help, you can't send me to the laboratory when you wake up. Yun Miao said, looking at the motionless Feng Chengyuan, and nodded to himself, if you don't answer, I will take it as your consent. Smiling, Yun Miao did not waste any time. He directly mobilized his mental power to cover Feng Chengyuan, and then began to sing. The waves silently submerged the night deeply, overflowing the corner of the sky. Big fish swim through the gaps in dreams, staring at your sleeping silhouette. Quote. Note 1. The ethereal voice sang a melodious tune, cleansing the restlessness deep in people's hearts. Even though Feng Chengyuan was in a coma, the mermaid's voice still reached his ears, slowly soothing his raging spiritual sea with extremely gentle mental power. As soon as Yun Miao's singing started, the live broadcast ball that had been forgotten in the sea finally followed the vague signal source transmitted by Yun Miao's optical brain and slowly found its owner. I seem to hear the host singing. Closing square bracket. Cho-cho, fly quickly, we want to watch the anchor. Closing square bracket. Ah, I saw it. It really is a mermaid. Question mark. My life is worth it. Question mark, question mark. During the time when Yun Miao had completely forgotten about the live broadcast room had undergone earth-shaking changes. Originally, because of the Zerg incident, the number of viewers in the live broadcast room had exceeded 10 digits. Now, because of the legendary mermaid that had disappeared for hundreds of years, the popularity has suddenly exceeded the 10 billion mark, making Yun Miao's name completely resounding throughout the entire galaxy. When the live broadcast ball was swaying and floating in the sea, and there was only blue water in the live broadcast room, all the audience were sweating, fearing that the live broadcast ball would be stuck in the sea, and their wish to see the mermaid would be dashed. Unexpectedly, the live broadcast ball was still very competitive. Although it was difficult, it finally found Yun Miao. And when Yun Miao's image appeared in the live broadcast room again, everyone was shocked again. This was because the live broadcast ball directly recorded Yun Miao's entire appearance at the moment and presented it in front of everyone. Then everyone saw that on the reef, there was a mermaid with a beautiful face like a goddess, with long hair draped over her shoulders, and her exposed skin was as white as jade. A silver-blue fish tail hung down from the reef, and the tail fin with a blue-purple gradient was just immersed in the water, swaying with the ups and downs of the sea, which was breathtakingly beautiful. The barrage of comments in the live broadcast room was almost about to leave afterimages, but the moment Yun Miao appeared, it suddenly became quiet. If Yun Miao could pay attention to the live broadcast interface at this moment, he would definitely see that the barrage of comments in the live broadcast room seemed to be cleared in an instant, and everyone was too quiet. At this moment, no matter where they are or what planet they are on, everyone who is waiting in the live broadcast room has the same expression on their faces. Shocked, obsessed, and enlightened. When everyone came back to their senses from the shock of seeing a mermaid, the next second they were once again attracted by Yun Miao's singing and were immediately mesmerized by it. That part of the chanting in particular made everyone feel refreshed, with only one thought left in their minds. It turns out that this is the voice of a mermaid. Note 1. The song is Zhou Shen's Big Fish. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.